biggest stars makes his return to the court tonight. Power forward Kevin Durant back after missing the last 10 games with a left ankle sprain. He'll make his son's home debut versus the Timberwolves. With Minnesota just a game and a half back of fourth-place Phoenix in the West, this is a pivotal matchup for both teams, explains ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst.
The Wolves have won 5 in a row. They're on the heels of the Suns for seeding. This is a big game. This isn't just about KD getting in. Like, they need to win. KD knows it. That's why he's coming back for this game. So I'm expecting a great game on ESPN, I might add.
Brian Windhorst on First Take, coverage of the T-Wolves and Suns, 10 Eastern on ESPN TV. Minnesota's Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards both listed as probable. After sitting out last night's game with a thigh issue, Grizzlies point guard John Morant expected back tonight against the Clippers. ESPN's Pete Thamel's reporting VCU's Mike Rhodes has agreed to become the next men's basketball coach at Penn State. From ESPN's Jeff Borzello, Utah Valley's Mark Madsen, the former Stanford star and NBA veteran, will be Cal's next head coach.
A championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same with your vehicle. So for parts that fit, head to eBay Motors and look for the green check. Stay in the game with eBay Guaranteed Fit. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Sportsocracy here live on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. You can hear us live anywhere around the world on the iHeartRadio app. You also see us live on the YouTubes. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That'll get you into the chat with us.
You see me enjoying my lovely Arnie Palmer.
He just loves it so much.
I'm telling you,
it's golf
vitamin
season.
water lemonade with sweet tea is the greatest thing I've ever come across in my life.
It's golf season. He can't stay away from the Arnie Palm. He's just thinking about the Masters.
Hello, friends. That's good. I hadn't even thought that hadn't
only
even
a week
crossed
away.
my mind. I'm so buried in draft season that I hadn't even thought about that.
It's only a week away.
Oh, that means there's probably going to be some low-key bangers on who wins this.
Oh, 100%.
I hadn't even that's how intertwined in the draft I get. Everything else just stops.
It is the Draftmas season, and we'll have 3-round team-by-team mock drafts going out on the channel tomorrow because programming note, we will not be with you tomorrow afternoon because it is opening day of the Major League Baseball season. You can have Atlanta Braves baseball all season long right here on ESPN Asheville. And when they have a day game, Jeremy and I will take the opportunity to have a little bit of a day off. So
it's well timed because the Braves play in that and Major League Baseball plays in that sweet spot where you come in some days and go, hey, what do you want to talk about? Dan Patrick today did hey, here's some great rule changes we should do in the NFL, and one of them was you can hold on every play. And I went, are we doing this?
And they
right
were
now?
actually proponents of that idea?
It's a great
That's a
idea.
terrible idea.
It's a great idea.
No, sir, I'm not down for arch rivals football. We tried that once. It was called the XFL, and that didn't work
No, we're
out
still
well.
doing that. Marquette King is trying to get Cam Newton to come get some reps with the Renegades.
Is he really?
Yeah, and he might be the best quarterback in the XFL, and I swear
actually
that
would
says
be.
more about the quarterbacks in the XFL than it does about Cam Newton.
And then Cam Newton can say, hey, there's not 80 guys out here that are better than I am.
That's one place Cam Newton could look around and go, there are not 32 guys in this league that are better than me.
They don't even
You're
have
right.
32 quarterbacks in the league.
I was talking about players in general.
Oh, okay. Again, not wrong. Indeed, it is the Sportsocracy, and we welcome everybody into the program. And like I said, don't forget to join us in the chat today. Today we've got more team-by-team draft needs to go over. So we did the top 3 teams with the most draft capital
So today we're going to do the three with the least.
That's right. Vikings, Broncos, and the Dolphins all on the list today. How can they turn their off seasons around, or I guess capitalize on their off seasons with great draft classes here? Plus, we'll do another top 13 as at ESPN Draft Nerd, Jeremy Greene gives us his top prospects of each and every playing position. And today it's edge rushers.
We'll leave you on a high note because there are just a whole buku of them in this draft.
Top 13 edge rushers in the draft, and then the daily draft at the top of the third hour of the program will be, of course, us drafting the top edge prospects from the last 6 classes.
Yeah, look, around here we're a big fan of take the layup. And when you go 2 weeks, and I mean, the structure of the show just seems to write itself.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you got a lot of ins and outs to cover here about the NFL draft and what every team needs to do. And let's face it, you don't get this content from every show.
Absolutely. But you know what you do get from this show?
What's that?
The opening drive.
And the opening drive always brought to you by our good friends at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. 629 Brevard Road is the address. You can go to the web address, andersonnissan.com. When you go by, check out the showroom, check out the stock of certified pre-owns, or, of course, the brand spanking new cars like Jeremy's Titan Pro 4X outside.
Josh Michael, a member of the Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville family with his Pro 4X Nissan Xterra, he commented on my post yesterday that I was losing the black Pro 4X. He said, well, until we meet again in the Pro 4X family. And so I just sent in a picture of this one. And I went, no, I'm still here. They figured out how much I love this truck, so they just keep giving them to me.
Was it sand drift?
Desert sand.
Desert sand was the color of this vehicle.
Now there is a great discussion of which one of these trucks is actually the prettiest. And so far, we're batting 333 across the board.
Yeah, I'm all in favor of the red one.
I think I like the one I'm currently in the most, but I don't actually know.
Really?
I do. I like that color.
And what Eddie was in favor of the black one?
Yes. So I mean, and my wife is all in on the red one. Brian Haynes is in on the one I'm in right now. It seems like every third person I ask says each individual.
Right. It's all your choices over at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Mention the Sportsocracy when you go in to make your deal. They'll give you $250 on top of what your trade-in is worth.
And now, at the opening drive, I'm making a sweeping declaration.
Okay.
We already have he who shall not be named that is officially on conversation probation.
Mm-hmm. Until a deal gets done between the Green Bay Packers and the New York Jets.
Then he who shall not be named shall not be named. I am here to tell you, this is not a me asking, I'm telling you, there's another quarterback in the NFL, and his name is Lamar Jackson, and this will be the last time that we say his name on this show because we were putting him on conversation probation because I'm tired of talking about it. Okay? It's just, okay? I need a movement somewhere before I mention you again because your cute little Instagram shots at each other are driving me nuts.
Welcome.
These two entities have become two 15-year-old girls that are full-on frenemy, and the fact that I just said that phrase makes me angry.
Yep. Welcome to the world of athletes representing themselves.
So I'm out. No. But you know what we will talk about?
What's that?
Thursday night football.
Oh, the Thursday night football. So the proposal going into the owners' meetings down in Phoenix was to have a flex schedule. Thursday night games when we end the schedule gets set at the beginning of the season, and then you end up like we did this past year. I mean, it went off the rails quickly. You didn't even have like a good 5-week lead-in of banger matchups on Thursday night football before you went, oh, God, why are we watching the Bears and the Colts?
Why are we watching the Broncos? Why are the Broncos on my television?
Right. It seemed like they had 18 primetime games in the start of the season, and 4 of them were on Thursday nights. That's hyperbole. But here's the thing. We go into the owners' meetings, and the flex idea for Thursday night football gets voted down.
Well, it was tabled. It wasn't voted down. Well, they didn't vote on it.
They weren't going to do it.
Well,
now.
and that is stupid And John Mara's this idea that it's unfair to the fans to ask them to, take their weekend back?
It's so ridiculous.
A 3-day weekend because I'm going to Thursday Night Football?
I understand there will be some people inconvenienced. It doesn't matter how much lead time you give them. Some people's schedules just aren't as flexible as others. Going to an NFL game is, it is a special occasion for most of us who don't live in an actual NFL city market. If you don't live in the city and you can't get there within driving distance, for us it's a little different because we're 2 hours from Charlotte. That's not a big drive. But if I'm planning on going to a Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, something that I really want to do, I've never done it before.
Wait, you've never been to a Bucs game?
Not in Tampa. I've never been to.
Oh, I was about to say you've totally been
James
to a
Stadium.
game.
Oh,
it was one of the happier days of my life.
Right. I've seen them in Atlanta. I've seen them in Carolina, but I've never been in Florida, in Tampa during the season to see them actually play a game at Ray J.
At the big sombrero?
Right. Yeah. Well, I did go to the old sombrero one time. But anyway, if I'm going to make that move, if I'm going to plan to do this, yes, I've made my plans 6 months ahead of time. I've got the hotel. I've got it set up. I'm going to go there on November 11th, and I'm going to stay for 3 days, and I'm going to catch the game on Sunday. So if that game gets flexed to Thursday Night Football, what am I going to do as a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan?
Okay, so and I get what you're saying, and I'm going to give you an example based off a character on this here program, Asheville Police Chief David Sack.
Yes.
Okay, he is a season ticket holder of the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
He and his lovely wife Clarissa Hyatt Sack, best realtor in the world. He'll tell you, and so will I.
Clarissa sells WNC.com.
And that's a promo, boys and girls, for getting better at this as time goes on. So a Buffalo Bills game gets snowed out. He physically cannot get into the city because the airports are closed.
Mm-hmm.
They flexed the game to Detroit. That's not they flexed the day. They flexed the time zone this game was played in. They got there.
Mm-hmm.
Weird how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have season tickets, you're probably of some, I'm going to say some kind of means.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you're rolling in it, but you're paying for season tickets, so it's not like you're rolling quarters to do laundry. You'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And here's the thing. John Mara drives me absolutely nuts. I understand he has done a lot for this game, but virtually everything that comes out of his mouth, I almost feel like he's trying to out-stupid himself every time he speaks.
Mm-hmm.
You do get that the TV that's where we're making our money, John. That video box area in your living room is where all the money's coming from. If you're in the stadium, great. If you're not, put your tickets online and they'll sell in 9 seconds.
That was the kind of the point that I wanted to make was me as a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. If I've made this plan to go down there, I'm gonna change my schedule. I'm gonna change my days off with work or whatever. And if I can't do that, does it suck? Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
I missed my opportunity. Okay, whatever. But there'll be more games in the future, and I can recoup my investment by selling my tickets online. I go to the NFL Ticket Exchange or StubHub or wherever the hell people sell their tickets these days. You can do it on all of them.
Tank just went full John Mara of. Do they put them on the interwebs?
How
do we sell tickets these days?
He's making the point that there are many places that you can resell your tickets and recoup your investment here.
I got to get to the TV box to watch the baseball game.
The way the Thursday Night Football flex would work is they would announce it 15 days ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's plenty of lead time for you to be able to change your plans, change your bookings, whatever you need to do to make that work. And here's the thing. 98% of all NFL fans will do it.
No doubt.
Whatever it takes, I will do it.
Yeah, here's what we've learned about the NFL. We'll jump through whatever hoop it is that you want us to jump through to consume your content. And I'm going to be really honest with you. The Friday night game, that's coming. The Saturday night game, that's coming. You know why? Because the NFL's looking around going, everything we do works. It doesn't matter how stupid it is. It doesn't matter how little it makes sense. It doesn't matter how much it inconveniences you. We'll find a way to make it work. Black Friday game this year. You think that's going to be a hit? Because I have a funny feeling it's the highest rated game of the year.
Could be.
I have a weird feeling that will be one of the highest rated games of the year. We'll make it work.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make it work. It's what we do.
So the idea to have flex games on Thursday night, that idea got tabled. John Mara, obviously, he was concerned for the fans. He said it would actually be, quote, abusive to the fans.
Oh, yeah.
If we were to do that.
Well, I mean, John Mara's worried about people taking their horse and buggy in town because, that's it's really inconvenient on the horse.
Right. But, he's, there are also concerns about injuries, concerns about short waits or short rest and long rest and all of that.
Now, that, on the other hand, that's a legitimate beef. And after the break, I will tell you, this is actually Tank's idea, so he will tell you why that's really not as big a deal as you think it is, and it's pretty easy to get around.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
You are invited to dinner with us. Hello, my name is Stan Asher, lead pastor of Connection Point. I want to invite you to come and find hope, encounter truth, and experience love. We invite you to join us every Wednesday evening, 6:15 p.m. for a free meal followed by small groups, life-relevant Bible studies for every age group at 7 p.m. We also have an exciting children's ministry. We are located at 142 Elk Mountain Road, Asheville, North Carolina, 28804. Check us out on the web to learn more at connectionpointcog.org. We'll be looking for you.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
Don't miss the factory authorized clearance at Sonny's Camp and Travel. All 2022 RVs must go. Look for the blue tags with clearance pricing up to 40% off on America's favorite brands. Hurry, when the tags are gone, so are the savings. Get 40% off at the factory authorized clearance at Sonny's Camp and Travel, a Blue Compass RV company. Visit Sonny'sRV.com. Example 22 Braxton Creek Free Solo, number SI 1026, MSRP 22222. See dealer for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Kai?
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy and Thursday Night Flex. Is it a good idea? The proposal came up at the owners' meetings in Phoenix, and they tabled it. They couldn't get enough on board to approve a flex schedule for Thursday Night Football, and there are many concerns with that. As we talked about, John Mara, the owner of the New York Giants, he was upset because it would be bad for the fans. I get that. But to me, the actual percentage of fans that you're going to be, completely knocking out of a chance to see their team live in their stadium is very, very small.
That's small, and I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. I don't know why we've gotten to this point where everything has to be fair. It's not. So you've got 70,000 people in a stadium, or 27 million at home watching on television. Which one's more important? It's the latter, and it's not close. And I can't do that math in my head, but it's somewhere like 400 times more relevant.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably actually more than that. That math don't math.
Right. I look at it, and without the flexing, the numbers for Thursday Night Football were still good.
Yes.
Even in those dog water matchups, it was still pulling a big number.
And my argument is that you don't necessarily have to do the flex thing. Now that you've opened up, teams can play there twice.
Mm-hmm. That is another wrinkle of this. They have approved that.
Because there are certain teams that, let's be really honest. Were you just itching to watch the Chicago Bears last year?
No.
Or the Houston Texans? Or the Arizona Cardinals?
No, sir.
No. So I don't necessarily need to flex it. As soon as the schedule comes out, I can go ahead and tell you what at least 3 good games a week are. I don't understand why it's so hard. One of those goes on Thursday night. One of them goes on Sunday night. One of them goes on Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Yep.
Done. I understand CBS and Fox pay a lot for their distro rights. You also get 5 times as many games as everybody else. So, sorry about your luck. 3 best games go in primetime. Done. End of message. Repeat the line.
Mm-hmm. So they have approved that you can have 2 Thursday Night Football games. And then there's the concern about injuries, of making players play on short rest, not only once, but twice during a season, can be detrimental. Okay, I'm willing to entertain that. I have yet to see an actual, hardcore study that says Thursday Night Football increases injuries.
Well,
Roger Goodell in the NFL says that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
it's not true.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It's not. You're not going to find it.
Right. The only way you'll convince me of that is to show me the results. Show me somebody with half a brain has studied this thing and proven that it happens, because you haven't shown that to me, and they say it doesn't exist right now. Now here's my thing. There are ways that you can move this around. Mm-hmm. So let's say, okay, we got 2 appearances on Thursday Night Football.
Kansas City's going to be one of them.
Yeah, you don't want to disrupt the schedule so much, so let's go back-to-backs. Give me back-to-back Thursday night games. That way you kind of keep the schedule. You get some long rest on the end of it, but you kind of keep the same schedule.
Yeah, I hate that idea.
Why?
It's the same team on Thursday night 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, I'll pass.
To avoid major disruptions, 2 different disruptions in the season, that's one possibility.
What is that phrase? I've already said it once. Oh, yeah, I don't care.
Here's another scenario. So, flex me on Thursday night, but hey, flex me right before my bye week. That way, I could have almost a 2-week break in the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm. And that's perfectly fine. If you want to stagger it with the bye week every time you can, more power to you.
Mm-hmm.
I once in AAU played 5 games in 2 days. Now, with football, it's basketball.
Right, basketball is
still,
a little different.
And I understand that. But to tell me with no empirical evidence whatsoever, because it doesn't exist, that this is somehow just a gigantic, awful, and then you get an extra half week on the backside of it. I just don't see it as that big of a problem.
Mm-hmm. It's the long rest on the back. Everybody focuses on the short rest going into the game. I get it. If you got nagging injuries, it's not ideal to go play a game 4 days after you just played another one. But here's the thing: you're going to have 10 days on the backside of that. There are many times where I go, "Hey, let's just suck it up, get through this one, and then give me the long rest to recoup after that."
So there's a narrative that the football on Thursday nights is just so bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give me any piece of evidence with a good team where that served to be true. All right, let's just look at the Thursday night games from last year.
Okay.
We started with the Bills and the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's first week of the year, the rest and all that thing. It doesn't really matter. Didn't affect the Buffalo Bills. Didn't affect them the next week, and the Rams were awful.
Mm-hmm.
So, awful's awful. Second week. Oh, weird. That's a short week after the first week of the season. Chiefs-Chargers. This is one of the best games of the season.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because both of those teams are good. Both of those teams are good. Browns-Steelers. It wasn't a bad game. It wasn't great. Bengals-Dolphins was fantastic in week 4. You had the injury to Tua, which was awful, but the game was good. Well, then you get to week 5 with the Colts and the Broncos. By the way, 2 teams that were picking in the top 5 of this draft. Yeah, that game was awful. I don't care if you played it on Thursday. I don't care if you played on Sunday, Monday, on the moon, on a train, with a cane. I don't care where you play. It's going to be awful because the 2 teams suck.
Right.
So that's where this narrative falls in. Good teams, empirical evidence here, they don't play any worse on Thursdays. Good is good on Thursdays. I could argue it's not quite as good, but it's still good.
Mm-hmm.
Is bad worse? Yeah, probably. That 12-9 Broncos-Colts game, I'm not going to lie to you, I would rather sit in a room with all of my ex-girlfriends and tell them where it went wrong than watch that again.
I will even give them a pass on that because you didn't know. You didn't know at the beginning of the season those 2 teams were going to be that bad.
No, but the next week you had the Commanders and the Bears.
Now, see, that's when the flexing could have happened.
Yeah, anybody with you don't have to flex it. Don't put that game on Thursday. We knew going into the season that the Bears were going to be awful. I could argue the Commanders were probably a little better than we thought they were. Not by much.
Mm-hmm.
You knew that wasn't going to be some barnstormer game. Cardinals-Saints. You really went into the season thinking that was going to be just steak sauce. A1. Let's go. No. And I can do that through the entire schedule. Ravens-Bucks. Neither one of those teams were as good as we thought. Still a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Still a good game.
Mm-hmm.
There are times that we get narratives stuck in our head. And no matter how patently false it is, we just keep doing it. Oh, the football on Thursday is awful. No, it's not. The good teams are good. The bad teams are awful.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a bad team that played poorly on Thursday Night Football.
And maybe this is the point you're trying to make here, is that the day doesn't matter.
I don't care what day it is. Good teams still produce on Thursday Night Football. Right. All right, the Philadelphia Eagles played the Texans. That game was close. They still beat them and beat them comfortably. I mean, Philadelphia didn't blow out a lot of teams, especially at that point in the season. So it's not true. It's just like what you're saying about injuries. Well, I've never seen the reports because it doesn't exist, because it's not true. So, Pat Mahomes can make all of his sad face because I know my team's good and I'm going to bail prime time more times. Yeah, well, you get an extra day on Mondays and you're going to get at least 2 of those. You get an extra half a day on Sunday night, you're going to catch at least 1 of those.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry about your luck that you're too good and everybody wants to watch you.
Yeah, hate it for you. Woe is the man who has to play in prime time all the time.
Injuries happen.
Yeah.
There's no empirical evidence that they happen more. And I would say a year from now you probably get into the flex thing, but I don't even really care. Just stop giving me the Houston Texans and the Chicago Bears.
Well, just because it's been tabled at the owners' meetings doesn't mean we won't get it for this season. We could still get it for this season. They meet again in 2 months, I believe it is, sometime after the draft.
Yep.
They will meet again, and it can be brought up again. One of the things that John Mara brought up about it was that he didn't like the fact that it didn't go through the committee process. Okay, well, here's your chance. You got 2 months before these next meetings. Run it through your committees, and let's hash this out and come to an agreement that we can all live with. Because I feel like it's now. I've screamed for flex scheduling forever since I've been an NFL fan.
Well, I mean, and I'm fine with the flex. As I've said, I don't think it's that important on Thursdays. And then I look at the other things that John Mara is angry at. That you can't get a licorice whip for a penny anymore. That you can't go to a moving picture show for 5 cents. That he broke his quill as he was writing his letter to his dear Elizabeth. John Mara, please shut up. Like, I love you. You've done great things for this game, but some of the things that come out of his mouth are so unbelievably stupid that I can't wrap my brain around it. You're 98 years old, okay? He's actually not. I think he's in his early 80s.
Something like that.
It's just this is so much easier than you're making it.
Well, and you're going to have that. Obviously, you're going to have these issues when you have people of the older generation.
Well, Jerry Jones is 1,000. Does he bring these things up? No, because he's a good marketer and he understands the value of the game.
I was going to say he's a little different. The other who spoke out against the flex schedule was Art Rooney. Also,
older gent.
Right. I mean, you can see where the divide is here. Some owners are afraid of change.
I told you before the show, if you told me there was $10 million somewhere hidden in an NFL stadium, we're in Asheville, North Carolina, which has direct flights to like 15 cities in the country. There ain't a place on this planet that I couldn't be in, or in this country, that I couldn't be in 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I did this for years. And outside of one time that I spun around in like 7 states for 3 days, I never really had that many issues. Travel ain't that hard, and changing your schedule ain't that hard.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. When we come back, we'll get just a bit outside.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
It's the cooler side of March again tonight with below average numbers near freezing in the valley, some 20s in the higher elevations tonight. Another gorgeous spring day Thursday. Sunshine, high 66 degrees tomorrow. Lows tomorrow night, not as cold in the mid-40s. And then Friday, cloudy, high 66 degrees. Rain comes into the forecast for the weekend with rain showers Saturday, high 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome at the end of your first year. They automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you've earned, doubled. The cash back from trips, restaurants, all doubled. Seriously, though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Spring in the South means the return of Atlanta Braves baseball.
There's a liner out towards center field. It will lay down. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it.
The 2023 Braves load up for another huge season.
The Braves play here on ESPN Asheville.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, live in the Ingles studio. And this one could have gone into weird. This one could have gone into crimes. This one had everything, but it's got the sports connection, so here's just a bit outside. Just a bit outside the ESPN headquarters in Bristol, Connecticut last week, we find Dennis Hernandez, also known as DJ, also, for a brief time, known as Jonathan Hernandez. He is the older brother of Aaron Hernandez. We're all familiar with the Aaron Hernandez story. No need to get into that, but you can imagine that Dennis, DJ, Jonathan, whatever you want to call him, is a little uncomfortable with all of the attention that his brother's case still gets in the media. Well, he was having a bad day on March the 23rd, and at around 3 p.m., he got into an Uber, got the Uber to take him on down to the ESPN headquarters because, if you weren't aware, the Hernandez brothers grew up there in Bristol, just a stone's throw away from the ESPN headquarters. And I think he had posted on social media that he wanted to go to the state capitol and to ESPN and bust out some windows. Well, he got in the Uber and he got to the front gate at ESPN, and they checked with security, and they're like, "Hey, there's this guy in an Uber out here." And they're like, "No, we don't have any clearance for him. Send him away." So they tried to send him away, but DJ was going to make his statement. So he got out of the car and he threw something in a plastic bag over the fence at the ESPN headquarters. They went to retrieve what it was. It was a grocery bag that had a brick inside of it that had a note wrapped around it. Like, what is this, 1930? You're trying to send a message by throwing a brick with a note taped around it through somebody's window. Not shocked at all. But here is what the note had to say. To all media outlets, it's about time you all realize, which realize is spelled real, eyes. Like the eyes in my head are real. All one word, REALEYES.
If you're going to throw a ransom note or really try to get a point across, spell check.
Indeed. It's about time you all realize the effect media has on all family members. Since you're a worldwide leader, maybe you could lead how media and messages are delivered brick by brick. Clean it up. That's his punny little answer. That's there. Cute. Yours truly, Dennis J. Hernandez. Well, I don't know that you really needed to launch an investigation as to who did this after the note had his name on it. But the security guards did say that they thought they had recognized him and pinpointed him as DJ Hernandez. He has been arrested. He is charged with a misdemeanor breach of the peace, and he was also informed that he is no longer allowed at the ESPN campus in Bristol, Connecticut.
I just want to make sure if I understand what the mantra here was. So you're trying to say that ESPN is to blame for people having a certain thought of your brother. Killed it. Kim English is the new head coach at Providence College, replacing Ed Cooley, who took the job at Georgetown. And he has an interesting way of keeping kids from entering the transfer portal. If you don't know who Kim English is, he played in the NBA. Played in the NBA, played overseas for a while. Pretty good basketball player.
Related to Alex English?
No.
Okay.
Somebody in the comments said Elemento fired. There's certain things that, okay. So
names on the door.
There you go. So he's taken over at Providence, and as soon as Ed Cooley left to take the Georgetown job, several of his players entered the transfer portal. One of those players was a freshman guard named Jaden Pierre, who did the iCloud message thing that basically said, I love Providence, it's great, but I'm entering the portal, make decisions for myself. So Kim English shows up at Providence, and he goes, I have an idea. Let's play a game of one-on-one. If I win, you stay.
Okay.
If I lose, you're free to do whatever you want to. Care to take a guess what happened?
He beat him.
Smoked him.
Really?
Twice.
Twice?
And would you like to know how that we all know that? Because he posted it on Instagram live, and he smoked him like a deli meat. This is great. First of all, Kim English was a great choice for the job at Providence. Ed Cooley's one of our favorite coaches in all of college basketball, so that's obviously a loss.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the way you use social media and you use your influence and all of these things for good. All right, the transfer portal is ridiculous. Every person I talk to in college basketball hates it. But even if, and look, the kid can transfer if he wants to. It's not like this is a binding thing. But I liked this a lot. And it actually appears that now the kid's going to stick around. He has not pulled his name out of the transfer portal, but he did say he would be staying.
Awesome. I love that you get beat. You get creamed by the coach in one-on-one.
Oh, yeah. Well, the coach, I think Kim English is he's 34. Yep, 34.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the youngest coaches in college basketball. And he went, I'm still got that J.
I love the coach's confidence. You got to love that about him. It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy is your Draftmas Central leading up to next month's NFL Draft. At ESPN Draft Nerd, Flostradamus Jeremy Greene has all of the big tips for all of the teams in the NFL. Yesterday, we talked about the teams with the most draft capital in this 2023 draft class. Now, we're going to highlight 3 teams that have the least amount of capital this year. And first up, the Minnesota Vikings. So, what do the Vikings need here?
Well, they have 5 picks total. You gave up the second-round pick to the Lions. You got a fourth-round pick back from them.
Mm-hmm.
So they have 23 in the first round. It's actually 24. And before anybody asks me about pick numbers, I'm already over it. All right, I don't know. I'm doing what the NFL told me. Technically, they pick at 24 because 21 counts, even though Miami's not making it.
Mm-hmm.
Either who. Then they have a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a compensatory pick in the sixth. I don't love this Minnesota roster. I haven't. I think they're the luckiest team in the NFL last year, and I can't get what the Dallas Cowboys did to them out of my head. What does this team do really well, consistently?
Pass the ball.
Okay. They consistently pass the ball well to Justin Jefferson, and sometimes to T.J. Hawkinson.
And sometimes to K.J. Osborne.
Once a year.
And sometimes to Adam
K.J.
Thielen.
Osborne is the birthday of the NFL because it comes around once a year. It's really fun, and then it's over.
If you're lucky enough to take Justin Jefferson out of this game, chances are Kirk Cousins is going to find somebody else to hurt you with.
So defensively, do they rush the passer particularly well?
Not really.
No. Are the corners great?
No.
You just lost Dalvin Tomlinson, so you think you're going to stop the run particularly well? No. To me, the biggest need on this team is that you need a wide receiver. You got to have somebody that takes some of the heat off of Justin Jefferson because what you've got right now is not going to do it.
No. You got K.J. Osborne and who? Who's left? Is B.C. Johnson still on this team?
Probably. I remember he got hurt at one point. Jalen Naylor.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a 6th-round pick out of Michigan State. He's fine, but it's not worrying you. There's nothing about this team that really worries you. And Dalvin Cook, he's getting older. He's still a very good running back, don't get me wrong. But I feel like at this point you're going to have to outscore teams. Like, you are going to be a shootout team next year because that secondary is terrible. But we got Byron Murphy. Awesome. You signed to the most expensive slot corner in NFL history, who I like. But if you think that's changing your fortunes – when you have Andrew Booth Jr. and a Caleb Evans playing corner, I got a bridge to sell you.
You didn't like Booth?
I don't mind Booth.
I was going to say, you didn't see anything that told you he can be a steady, good starter in this league for a long time?
Oh, well, what exactly was I supposed to see?
How
many snaps did he play last year?
No clue.
It's 105. Yeah, I mean, he played 2 games last year. So, no, I haven't seen – I mean, I think he's a decent 2. I liked him when he was coming out. There were some issues with him. I like a Caleb Evans. You just don't have – you go up against the number 1 receiver. All right, the Detroit Lions come into town, and you've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and whoever else that ends up being that 3, whether it's Josh Reynolds or somebody else. Who can you take out?
Yeah, you're going to get cooked.
You're going to get smoked
Mm-hmm.
because you don't get to the quarterback consistently enough to make up for the fact that – I mean, and I like Danielle Hunter. I'm not wild about Marcus Davenport, but it's just this is a very clunkily built team. So for me, I've got to go get a receiver. I've said Zay Flowers is the one that screams Minnesota Viking to me because he can play on the outside. I've got KJ in the slot, so I really don't need to double up that slot thing. I need somebody to replace what Adam Thielen was last year, which wasn't much. So Zay Flowers would be, to me, the over-the-top threat that takes the safety away. I wish you had added a corner in free agency that wasn't a slot guy. Because that's when I look at this team, that's what really bothers me. If Booth was your 2, all of a sudden I don't have that big a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But Byron Murphy does not play particularly well on the outside. I mean, if you look at his analytical ratings playing from the slot and playing out wide, it's quite markedly different. So I struggle to believe they're going to put him outside. And so I would love to have had a veteran, but I think that ship has sailed.
Right. Now you're at the point where you have to go get another rookie, and now you've just got
super
3 of your young.
Well, I mean, now
core.
3 of your top 4 corners are second year or younger.
Mm-hmm.
That's to me, that's not a recipe for success.
Right.
I mean, I like Harrison Smith, but at this point, he's not nearly as rangy as he once was, and I'm not going to say he was the rangiest safety in the league in the first place. You lose Eric Kendricks. I'm just looking at Minnesota going, this is death by 1,000 paper cuts. I'll also tell you that there's a report out, and this came from somebody at Fox Sports, I can't remember who it was, that apparently Kirk Cousins went to them willing to take a discount for an extension, and they turned him down. Is that not odd to you?
It's a little odd to me, but there have been rumblings for 3 seasons now about, is it time to move on from Kirk Cousins? Is he the guy that's going to get you to where you need to go? And if I'm Kevin O'Connell and the GM, I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to go long term on this guy. I don't know if I want another 3-4 year extension with Kirk Cousins. Maybe it's time to pull the plug.
Of all the things that are legitimately your problem, Kirk Cousins ain't one of them.
No.
And so I guess that's my point, is that I look at teams, and what I always do when I go into the offseason is this team rebuilding, which means you're getting rid of older players and you're getting younger and you're looking a year, 2, 3 years down the line. Or are you reloading, where you have a good base and you're trying to get better at weak spots? I've now seen them do both of those things in one offseason. And it's a very confusing direction to me. If you think that you're competitive, you were the 2 seed in the NFC last year, why would you not take the savings on Kirk Cousins?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they're very intrigued by the idea of a young quarterback on the roster.
Because they know where this is headed. They know they're not making the bounce back. They know that I would think the common sense would be, yeah, we got pretty lucky in 1-score games this year. But this by no means is a rock that just needs to be polished and then it's a gem. Like, we've got some actual work to do.
Legitimate issues.
Yeah.
They have legitimate issues.
And am I going to pour the immediate future of this team into Kirk Cousins? And I think I would be on the same side. I would go, no. Let's see how it goes. I don't think it's a bad idea with an aging quarterback.
I don't know. It just if you're tearing this down, that's okay. I feel like you would have gotten something for Kirk Cousins. I mean, if you want a young quarterback on the roster, trust me, there are plenty of teams that would be more than willing to accommodate you getting up there to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's just something about the way this is being built that is really bothering me. And then I look around the division and go, the Bears are better. The Lions are better than they were last year.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think the Lions are better than you. Yeah, you lose Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, but how much worse is that roster in Green Bay than Minnesota's right now?
Mm-hmm.
Is it insane to say that Minnesota's the worst team in this division?
No.
I don't think it is either.
I don't think it's insane. I think it's very close with Chicago, and I
think they're better than Chicago. I think they probably finish with a better record than Green Bay because I believe so little in Jordan Love.
Mm-hmm.
If I was going next 3 years, I would say you have the lowest ceiling of any of them.
Maybe so. I mean, we've already seen Adam Thielen is now gone to Carolina. They cut him loose to save some money on an aging receiver. Dalvin Cook's not long for this team, more than likely. Could see him moving on in some shape, form, or fashion in the next couple of years, and Kirk Cousins is in the same boat.
In terms of other needs, we've already touched on corner. We touched on receiver. I would like to see them add another edge guy. He's only signed Marcus Davenport to a one-year deal, so, I mean, that's a one-year prove it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think that's going to work out the way you want it to.
The question is, how much can you get out of a 4th or 5th round edge rusher that's going to impact your season this year? Can you get a developmental piece that turns into a superstar in 3 years?
Teams find guys like this every year.
Absolutely.
Teams find guys like this every year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're looking for one, Isaiah Land out of Florida A&M. Out of Florida A&M. That's one I would be chasing hard.
This is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. Jeremy's got some bangers in the NBA tonight. That's coming up next.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zack with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Natalia, solid dismount, but that little pause is a deduction.
Top tumblers hope to stick the landing with Coach Jasmine.
That aerial sequence still needs work.
She needs more certified athletic trainers to find her balance.
Focus. I'm going to need you for the all-around. Wait, who's spotting the vault?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you have taxiety? That nervous feeling when you realize it's tax time again, but you don't know how much it could cost you? Don't wait until the last minute to file. Liberty Tax will help you get your maximum refund at our lowest possible price. Our professional services start at just $69. Start your taxes today online at libertytax.com or schedule an in-person appointment with one of our local tax offices. Offer ends April 18th, 2023. Valid at participating locations. Terms and conditions apply. See website or office for details.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
The Atlanta Braves are back, and this 2023 team is ready for another epic season.
1-1 pitch. There's a deep drive to left center field. This thing is clear for takeoff. Back-to-back home runs, Ozuna and Riley.
Thursday afternoon, it's the 2023 season opener live from Washington, D.C. as the Atlanta Braves open the season against the Nationals.
Airtime is 12:50 Thursday afternoon on your home for Braves baseball in Western North Carolina. ESPN Asheville.
Coffee's for closers only. Get them the money.
Then when you get the money, you get the power.
That watch costs more than your car.
Then when you get the power, then you get the win.
Completely right about the Heat Raptors last night. Completely wrong about the Celtics and Wizards. Hope you listened to that early advice on the Magic and Hornets with injury news, as those were both winners as well. Huge slate in the NBA tonight and a couple really tasty lines. This is Greene on Greene, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. The Philadelphia 76ers are a 4-point favorite tonight at home against the Dallas Mavericks. Over-under is 232. Okay, I don't know what the line makers were drinking last night when they put out this line, but there is something seriously wrong with this picture. The Dallas Mavericks have been horrible since they acquired Kyrie Irving and totally gutted their bench in doing so. And tonight, they travel to Philadelphia to take on a Sixers team at full health. But they beat the Pacers to death the other night. Yeah, and the Pacers are killed and not very good in the first place. That isn't swaying me. This Mavs team got dusted twice by the lowly Hornets, and I can't get that out of my brain. Kyrie has to defend either his old buddy James Harden or Tyrese Maxey, and whichever one it is will absolutely go nanners. The total feels a little low to me, even in a blowout, and it's really low if the Mavs find a way to keep it close. This is my achy, breaky, no mistakey lock of the decade of today. Sixers minus the 4, they win by $1 billion and over the 232. The Los Angeles Lakers are a 2-point favorite at the Chicago Bulls. Okay, now you're just messing with me. This Bulls team is awful and has the look of a team that is going to get smoked in the play-in game. The Lakers will have LeBron and D'Angelo Russell back in the starting lineup tonight, and this should really not be close. LA can't afford a loss with the West so tight at the bottom of the playoff race, and I don't look for them to carry one tonight. Lakers minus 2 in what I think will be a comfortable win. Finally, the Utah Jazz are a 4-point favorite at the San Antonio Spurs, over under 233.5. If you play in a recreational, church, or after-work basketball league, there may be a team in that league that could currently give the Spurs a run for their money. One of only 4 mathematically eliminated teams in the NBA? Seriously, that's it, with just over a week to play with this stupid play-in tournament. The Spurs are playing for nothing more than ping-pong balls in the lottery. Utah, on the other hand, still has a chance to crash the playoff party, and with a tough schedule to finish the season, they can't afford to mess around with San Antonio tonight. This total has come down a bit over the course of the day, but it still feels high in a matchup of inefficient offenses. Give me Utah, I'll give the 4 and under the 233.5. For more, follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. And as always, Greene on Greene is brought to you by Ingles Markets. Love the savings with Ingles. Love the winnings with me. Mull it out.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
It's the cooler side of March again tonight with below average numbers near freezing in the valley, some 20s in the higher elevations tonight. Another gorgeous spring day Thursday. Sunshine, high 66 degrees tomorrow. Lows tomorrow night, not as cold in the mid-40s. And then Friday, cloudy, high 66 degrees. Rain comes into the forecast for the weekend with rain showers Saturday, high 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right price. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Imagine transforming your outdoor space into a stylish and functional area for relaxation and entertainment. Imagine superior durability and longevity, ensuring that your investment lasts for years to come. Imagine whatever you'd like. Decorators Composite Decking, Railing, Balusters, and Accessories can help you create a deck that reflects your personal style and provides an inviting space for you and your loved ones to gather. Make your vision a reality. To learn more, visit decorators.com. That's decorators with a K.
For your guaranteed biggest refund and 50% off tax prep, switch to Jackson Hewitt. 50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Hey everyone, it's Cassidy Hubbarth from ESPN.
I'm Nico Ramos, a sports broadcaster here in Manila.
Together, we have a new podcast we can't wait to share with you. Hoops Paradise, the Philippines' love of the game.
You know, there's religion, there's politics, and there's basketball. And those are the three things you talk about in the Philippines.
It's a basketball love affair like no other. Listen to Hoops Paradise, the Philippines' love of the game, on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
I'm Christine Lisi. Big night tonight in Phoenix. After missing the last 10 games with a left ankle sprain, Kevin Durant is set to return and make his Suns' home debut against the Timberwolves, 10 Eastern on ESPN TV. It'll be just his fourth game with Phoenix. Looking ahead to the playoffs, the key for the Suns won't be how few games KD's played for them. It's Chris Paul, believes ESPN's Nick Friedel.
Is he, through a postseason run, going to be able to produce night after night? When you're playing with Kevin Durant and you're playing with Devin Booker, you can create space for other guys. But in my mind, when you watch this Suns team, the focus shouldn't be so much on Durant over the next few weeks. It's how Paul looks, and can he push them over the edge in the postseason.
Tonight, Minnesota's Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns both listed as probable. Grizzlies leading scorer Ja Morant expected to return from a thigh issue tonight against the Clippers. ESPN's Pete Thamels reporting VCU's Mike Rhodes has agreed to become the next men's basketball coach at Penn State. Utah Valley's Mark Madsen, the former Stanford star and NBA vet, will be Cal's next head coach.
A championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same with your vehicle. So for parts that fit, head to eBay Motors and look for the green check. Stay in the game with eBay Guaranteed Fit. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, and we're heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Sportsocracy also coming to you live on YouTube inside the Ingles Studio every afternoon. All you got to do to watch us is go to thesportsocracy.com. Click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that way you can join us in the chat. You can get live alerts. You can join the House of Reprehensibles. You can get into the Discord chat with us. Just all those lovely little perks for being a member of the show on YouTube, thesportsocracy.com. Now, it is time for another Draftmas Season Top 13 from @ESPN Draft Nerd Jeremy Greene. Today, our position group is edge rushers. Now, you got one edge rusher way at the top of this class.
Well, look, I have said I don't think Will Anderson is – I don't think he is a generational pass rusher. I love Mel Kiper.
Mm-hmm.
Mel Kiper is probably the reason for me. In his last mock draft, he said Will Anderson wasn't special. That may be the stupidest thing I've ever heard somebody say in my life, and that's in a week where Mike Tannenbaum said he would take Hendon Hooker at 5.
Right.
That's dumber than that.
The only knock that I have that I looked at with Will Anderson this season that I could come up with as a knock on him is penalties. Where's his headspace? What's his football IQ? What's his situational awareness? Those are things that I would go, yeah, maybe not. But then I look at other edge rushers that have come out recently, and I go, this guy's still one of the best.
Over the last handful of years, he may be the best. He may be the best since Von Miller, Khalil Mack. I mean, he's that impactful. I would have had him over Aiden Hutchinson last year.
Mm-hmm.
I would have certainly had him over Trayvon Walker. And it wouldn't be all that close. Hutchinson would be in the ballpark, but he wouldn't have been. Because the thing with Will Anderson is that he doesn't have When you see somebody that's this good rushing the passer, usually the knock is that they're terrible against the run. I could argue that Will Anderson is better against the run than he is as a pass rusher. I mean, this is the definition of a 3-down, future all-pro, highly impactful pass rusher. The thing that scares me is I'm afraid he's going to be compared to the Bosas and to Mack and to Von Miller. And I don't know that he's ever going to put up numbers like that.
Yeah, that comes with the territory.
And it depends on where he goes. You know, I'm almost 100% to the point of I can't see how he doesn't go to the Seattle Seahawks. Because I don't know how we're not going to have 4 quarterbacks go in the top 4. If that's the case and you've got all of these other pieces around him, yeah, he could be special. He may never put up the sack numbers because you've got so many players on that team that can do that.
Barring a team drafting in the top 4 doing something that we're not expecting, if Arizona stays at 3, you would imagine Will Anderson goes there.
I'm not 100% sold on that, but it's entirely possible.
And then
I hear a lot of names with Arizona if they stay there, but I don't think they will.
And then it's drop dead at 5 with Seattle.
His drop dead spot's 5.
Yeah, you could not come up with a better scenario for the Seattle Seahawks to get Will Anderson at 5.
And I'm dumbfounded by this thought of he's not special. He's been the best defensive player in college football for 2 solid years.
I'm quickly steering into the skid of Mel is just he's in it for clicks.
Well, I don't agree with that. Mel's always had spicy takes for since 1984. It's what he does. And Mel's fantastic at this. He's not the best mock drafter I've ever seen.
Sure, spicy takes are one thing. But you keep repeating the same thing over and over again that everybody looks at and goes, nah, that's not happening.
Well, I mean, to say Will Anderson's not special to me is just insane.
Right.
It's literally certifiably insane. And I think he will be there's very little chance to me that he's not one of those that we look back on this draft 5 years from now and go, well, it was just an obvious layup. The Bosa brothers come to mind. I'm not sure he's ever going to be that point. That's what I have been saying is I have no doubt he's going to be good. I have no doubt that he's going to be fantastic. I don't know that he's ever the best pass rusher in the league. I also don't really see a way that he's not in the top handful. So for me, 1 in this class was not even a debate. I didn't think about that for 2 seconds.
Number 2 in the class.
Number 2 I did think about for a little bit longer. It wasn't an extensive period of time. It's Tyree Wilson.
Yes. I was going to say, if the mock drafts are any indication, it's got to be Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech.
Well, I mean, and the thing you got to understand is the drop-off from Will Anderson to Tyree Wilson is stout. I mean, there is a gigantic drop-off between the two. There's really good tape on Tyree Wilson. I'm also not 100% sure where he plays. I've seen him play inside. I've seen him play on the edge. I think he could, in theory, stand up. I really wish at some point I'd seen him run because I think he's faster than people think. And I think he can be fine in space. There's also the player who reminds me the most of is Ezekiel Ansah that was drafted by the Lions years ago. And he had a good career for a minute, and then it waned off. And I'm not sure that that's not exactly how this is going to go.
Okay.
I mean, I think he will be a good player in this league. The effort level bothers me at times because there were times that you could completely forget he was even on the field. Now, when he was on, and he was evil. My problem with him is I have never seen top 10 talent for more than a handful of plays at a time. Now, this is not a good draft class. I've said that time and time and time and time and time again. I would argue in the last probably 10 drafts, I mean, I've been doing this a little longer than that. I'm not sure he would have been a top 10 pick in any of them, save 2013, which still praying for anybody that had to make a pick in that god-awful nightmare. He's a good player. And in the right system, I think he could be a great player. I don't see all-pro or anything like that. And he's going to be drafted in a position that's what you expect.
Right.
I mean, because
especially
I think for
if you're
him,
going in the top 6 of the draft.
Well, I mean, I think his drop dead is probably
8.
Probably Maybe. Depends on what happens with Jalen Carter. Depends on if one of the corners gets into the top 7, and I'm not expecting them to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think one will go there. If Joey Porter somehow got in the top 7, then it's going to push somebody out, and I guess it could be him. I'm struggling to see how that happens. But when you see a player drafted that highly, you expect them to come in and be amazing off the jump.
Yes.
And I'm not sure you're going to get that.
This is where the list, I think, will get a little interesting here because I'm not real sure what name's getting ready to come out of your mouth
You
for
should
the
know.
number 3 edge rusher in this class.
You should know. You do enough of this with me. It's Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa. I mean, the knock on him is, well, he didn't start. I don't care. Played 900 some odd snaps in college. I mean, I've seen it. The question is, will he hold up against the run? How will he hold up with a full workload? Playing high-level snaps, because he basically was just a situational pass rusher at Iowa. I don't really have a fear of that. I mean, he's big enough, he's thick enough, he tested really well. I mean, he's got an RAS score of 9.38, which is really, really high.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not worried about that necessarily. I've compared him to George Karl. I think he's George Karlaftis if George Karlaftis worked out harder than he does. And that's not a shot at him. It's just, I mean, Lucas Van Ness looks like Thor.
Right.
Hair and everything. And for me, he screams Philadelphia Eagle. Player that I put in that rotation, and over time he falls into a Brandon Graham replacement spot because he is good enough against the run to play 3 downs. He's also got some of the best pass rushing tape I've ever seen. There's just not a ton of it. So and that's what happens in classes like this is you start looking for who has the upside that's high enough to pay off being a top 10 pick. He is one of those players. He's also one that could never be better than a good starter in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't shock me in the least either. The floor is pretty safe. The ceiling's reasonably high. But I would say the range of outcomes fall somewhere in the middle of that.
Number 4.
Now, this is where it gets, I'm not going to say spicy, but I would not have had this name. It's Nolan Smith out of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a height, weight, speed monster, 6'2", 238, and ran a 4.39, which is still funny for me to say aloud. A little bit of an injury history. Production was not always there, but I feel like I say that about near every Georgia player because there were so many of them.
Yes. When you have 18, first-round draft picks come out of that defense in 3 years, it's kind of hard for everybody to have massive production numbers.
So you're the Georgia guy. What's your – and I'm not going to lie to you, I considered not having Nolan Smith on this list.
But why?
Because I'm not sure he's an edge rusher. I'm not sure he's not an off-ball linebacker. That could very easily be where he ends up in the league.
Yeah, but I think
he's
I think what he
phenomenal
gives you off the edge, you have to. He might be an off-ball linebacker some of the time, but he'll be an edge rusher some of the time.
And that's why he wound up on the list.
Absolutely, because he'll be paid like an edge rusher.
I'm not sure he ever will be.
Really,
I'm not sure that's not going to be This is going to be a weird comp because they're 2 completely different players. He kind of reminds me of Isaiah Simmons when he came out of Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're a football player. I just, for the life of me, can't figure out what position you actually play. And what I've determined over the course of time is those players almost never pay off the way that I want them to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because in a pair of shorts, Nolan Smith looks like a top 5 pick.
Yes.
The problem is that at Georgia at times, I didn't see that. I mean, I had him as back end of the first round, beginning of the second, and then I really dug into the tape, and it's, okay, now I'm comfortable with you in the top 20. I'm just not really sure what position you play. I mean, is he going to, at 238 pounds, line up at the end of a 4-man front?
No, God, no. No, he will stand up. He will be an outside linebacker in a 4-3. He will be the
and that's
edge
my point,
rusher
because
in
he
a
can't
3-4.
play on he can't be, to me, he can't play on the outside of the 3-4. He's too small.
No, I meant on the second level.
And so that's where I'm headed with this.
Yeah.
Is, okay, so you can get after the quarterback. That's great. I got 3 other linebackers in this class that can do that exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
In Drew Sanders, Jack Campbell. I get it.
But the question for me is, can they cover as well? Because that's the other thing. Like
Jack Campbell can.
Okay, and that's fair. I'm not as familiar with Jack Campbell. All I know is, Nolan Smith seemed to be at times with the Georgia Bulldogs in the right place at the right time every time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's not the case. He had plays where he disappeared, as Jeremy likes to say, but he was around the action.
He was around the ball all the
constantly.
time. I have no qualm with that.
And he was a ball hawker in coverage.
Mm-hmm.
He can lay the hammer. I think he's one of the most well-rounded players in this entire draft. It's just not a position of need if you're going to play him at off-ball linebacker.
And that's really the only place he fits to me. Everything else feels like a round peg in a square hole.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us to number 5.
Number 5.
Bet you probably know what I'm getting ready to say.
Is it attaboy?
I don't know what that means.
Attaboy or what?
No, we're not there yet.
We're not there yet?
It's Will McDonald. In terms of just sheer edge rusher, I've loved this kid forever. The knock on him is that he is thin. He and Nolan Smith are practically the same size. And he is a hand in the dirt, 4-3 end, 3-4 outside linebacker. I am not 100% sold that he can do that. He's one of those that I feel like somebody's going to stand him up, and I'm not sure that you should. Not because he has the physical tools to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sure that that's using him the best possible way. I mean, he is a lightning rod off the end of the line.
Mm-hmm.
There's a possibility that he's so small that you never are able to do anything but bring him in on third down and go see ball, get ball.
Yeah, I was going to say with the questions you have about his size, maybe he has to stand up. He can't play on the line.
And that's just that's now you're getting into an evaluation that's not what you do. That's okay. So now you're going to have to at some point you're going to have to cover. I'm not sure you can do that. And at that size, you basically have to.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Mel put him at 8, and I literally almost wee-weed myself. Because any team that did that would be laughed out of every room they ever walked into. Because, yeah, he does one thing really well, but he does one thing. And I don't know that he ever can bulk up to the point that he can play against the run. He wasn't terrible against it in college. But you also got to think he's playing the Big 12. You got offensive linemen in the Big 12 that are 275 pounds. So you're not seeing many Lane Johnsons in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do see the irony that Lane Johnson played in the Big. I got it.
At number 6, we'll just have to wait and see who Jeremy's got in store for number 6.
And we're out of the top 5, which means we're on to the lightning round.
We are running up on the break here, talking about the top 13 edge rushers in the 2023 NFL draft class. Flostradamus will give us his continued list up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic stop and go 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and US 1923 exit 3. Future 26 eastbound delays between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound in Haywood County crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Smoky Park Highway moving problem-free. Patton Avenue, no backups. Hendersonville Road, no delays. Sweeten Creek Road, incident-free. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $3 breakfast deal. Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is your choice of bacon or sausage, egg and Swiss croissant, plus a small seasoned potatoes for just $3. Break your morning routine and get your $3 breakfast deal today. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
You are invited to dinner with us. Hello, my name is Stan Asher, lead pastor of Connection Point. I want to invite you to come and find hope, encounter truth, and experience love. We invite you to join us every Wednesday evening, 6:15 p.m. for a free meal followed by small groups, life-relevant Bible studies for every age group at 7 p.m. We also have an exciting children's ministry. We are located at 142 Elk Mountain Road, Asheville, North Carolina, 28804. Check us out on the web to learn more at connectionpointcog.org. We'll be looking for you.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to ESPNAVL.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man!
This is the Sportsocracy, your Draftmas Season Central top 13 edge rushers in the 2023 NFL Draft Class. Coming up in the daily draft at the top of the next hour, of course, we'll do that thing we've been doing where we will draft, Jeremy and I, the edge rushing prospects from the last 6 classes. So including this class going back to 2018, where would we take those guys? And where will this year's guys fall in on that list? Top 13 edge rushers. Well, we've been through Will Anderson at 1, Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech at 2, Lucas Van Ness was 3, Nolan Smith out of Georgia 4, and Will McDonald at number 5. Who's number 6?
This is a guy who I just got the pronunciation guide so we can say his name correctly now. It's Adi Tamiwa Adibare out of Northwestern.
Yes.
Now, I almost didn't put him on the list either because I am almost 100% sure he's going to play defensive tackle in the NFL. Or he'll be a 3-4 defensive end. That's where I think he fits the best.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's a path that he plays on the end, and he is such a physical freak of nature. Ran a 4.49, by the way, at 6'1.5", 280 pounds. He's just undersized for practically everything. But I think his best fits as a 3-4 defensive end. And he's really electric, really athletic. It just all comes back to the size thing. There are some teams that'll have a third-round grade on him. Mm-hmm. There's others that have him in the top 15. So that's super. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
The number 7 edge rusher in this class.
It's a very familiar name because he has a brother in the NFL, B.J. Ojulari out of LSU. I think he's better than Aziz. He's a phenomenal pass rusher. It just gets into the measurables. He's a little light, 6'2", 245. But as I've said before, the game's getting smaller. It's getting faster, and he fits into all of that. The 4.5, 940 makes me feel like what I see on tape is that's what he gives you. Very instinctive. The one thing that I will say about him is you see him do all of these athletic things, and then there's times he just gets completely blown out of a play. Mm-hmm. And it rubs me the wrong way. But I see where his brother went. I think he's going to go about in the same range, early to mid round 2, and a team brings him in early as a situational pass rusher and then tries to develop him over time. He needs to hit a weight room real, real, real hard. And I think he will.
At number 8.
This is a guy we've talked about a lot. Miles Murphy out of Clemson. I'm not drunk in love on this guy, and I've said this with Clemson a lot, that Clemson doesn't always love telling you the truth about guys. They're very sunshine and rainbows, and everything is hunky-dunky, and you should take them. They'll be great for your team, Cleveland Farrell. And then you get them in the room, and you go, whoa, this is not nearly as warm and fuzzy as I was told. There are deficiencies here that body type, 6'5", 270, would have run somewhere in the, I think he ran a 4.57. That number's on 3 of my screens here, so I'm going with that.
Sure.
Height, weight, speed, he's great. The tape is super inconsistent. And then you look at how talented that defense was. He had Brent Venables, and then this year it wasn't quite as good. I told you early on in the process he's not going in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm not sure he's going in the first round. And if you're willing to take the time, he could turn into a good pass rusher in time, but I think it is going to take time.
Number 9.
Andre Carter, Army. Look, he tested terribly. I mean, genuinely awful. And at 6'6", 260, I'm not necessarily sure that I thought it was going to be great. I didn't think it was going to be 4.93. I did not think he was going to be one of the slowest edge rushers in this class because he's one that almost has to stand up. If you put his hand in the dirt, I could see him getting washed out of plays, and the bench was just awful. He benched 225 less times than I could.
Eesh.
So that's a little terrifying to me. But then you watch the play and the good and the high side. It's just he's coming out of Army. So, all right, everything I'm saying here is weight room. You're telling me a guy that was in the – okay, all right. I don't know that I've ever said that before, but all right.
That a guy at one of the academies.
A guy that was at one of the academy schools needs to hit the weight room. That's like saying Nick Saban didn't get the most out of somebody. I never said those words, and hearing them come out of my mouth sounded a little strange.
Yep. Number 10.
Felix Anadike Uzama. My biggest drawback on him is that, yes, he's a good pass rusher. There was some really high side. And I feel like I'm higher on him than most. There are a lot of services that would not have had him in the top 13, which I think is kind of stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sure he's ever 3 down. He's not as athletically imposing as I want him to be. This 4.7, 340 is not – that doesn't scream I'm going to be a high-impact guy in the NFL. Not quite as many snaps as I would like for him to have played. It's all just good. I think everything he does is good. I don't know that besides his ability to go speed to power, there's going to be anything that he does at such a high level in the NFL that he's ever he's a rotational guy. And he should go somewhere in the mid to late second.
Rolling through the top 13 edge rushers in the 2023 NFL draft class, number 11.
This is a name I don't know that you've heard me say before. Yaya Diaby, Louisville. He is not of this planet. 6'3", 263, ran a 4.5 40.
Yikes.
His 10-yard split was 1.51. That's receiver fast.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, that's roughly what Josh Downs did at that size. And look, he had a great year at Louisville. He was practically the only player on that defense. But it's still only 1 year. Only 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was not that guy before this. He really came on. And it's – there are certain guys that when they play in college, they're such a freak of nature that you can get past the fact that they don't necessarily have the moves. They're just that athletic. Well, you can get to the NFL, everybody's that athletic.
Mm-hmm.
So these are really boom bust, but I think he's moved his way into the second day, and he's certainly one that will end up standing up.
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, the class of offensive linemen in the ACC may not have been the best around college football.
It's still a Power 5
but
school.
It's still a Power 5
conference.
Right, it's still a Power 5 conference, and he runs into that thing of we're going up against wow, I almost slipped up there, a poo team. we're going up against this crappy team, and he's the only one that I really need to worry about, and he's still getting home on guys.
Yep.
So I feel like that sways him a little bit in the eyes of evaluators. Number 12.
Habakkuk Baldonado out of Pittsburgh. This is a guy that I'm not going to lie to you. All right, he's a personal little favorite of mine. I'm probably the only person on the planet Earth that would have him in the top 13. But I do. And I think he's going to come into the NFL and be really, really good. There comes a time where you have to look at somebody that was this productive. And I get he had Kalijah Kancey in that front that was really good at Pittsburgh. But there was a reason for that. And there were really not much in the back seven that scared you at Pittsburgh, and yet they got home a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to contend with teams that were way more talented than them. And a lot of it centered on that defensive line. And I'm not sure he's not the best of the bunch. I like Kalijah Kancey, but he's really undersized. Baldonado, not undersized.
Yeah.
He's not the athletic freak of nature. He's just a really good, I bring my lunch pail, I do my job, and I go home.
Mm-hmm.
And Pittsburgh Steelers, those blue-collar teams in the NFL, one of them's going to draft him, and they're going to love him.
And finally, number 13.
The Sasquatch of the edge rushers, Zach Harrison out of Ohio State. He is another one that is not of this world. But, man, he don't play it on the field. A super high-level 5-star recruit. But I never consistently saw it out of him. And I'm going to be honest with you. You watch that Michigan tape, in a hurry, you go, wow, that was not a fine day for you. And then he did it again. So the definition of a situational pass rusher, but he's very athletic. He's very, very fast. And somebody's probably going to stand him up. I think I have him, Indianapolis? Is who I had taken him?
I believe so.
If you expect him to do one thing, I think he will live up to that. Everything else, it's going to be tough. And that's weird coming from a guy he's 6'5", 275. And I genuinely think he's a situational pass rusher in the league. He's 3 inches taller and 40 pounds heavier than every other guy I said that about. And that's always bothered me too. He's got that Miles Murphy thing to even the higher extent. When I see you walking through the hotel lobby, good Lord, that dude is going to kill somebody. And you watch him on the field, and wow, that was disappointing.
Once again, we are Draftmas Central here in the Sportsocracy. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel so you get all of our team-by-team content. We got 3-round mock drafts that are going to be going out tomorrow, as we will not be with you here in the Sportsocracy due to Braves baseball on opening day. But we will have 3-round mock drafts going out. Of course, we will cover every pick of the NFL draft all 3 days live in the Ingles Studios.
All the domestic lights. And that day 3 gets weird. I did it shirtless one time. Good times.
Speaking of weird, it's coming up next here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
It's the cooler side of March again tonight with below average numbers near freezing in the valley, some 20s in the higher elevations tonight. Another gorgeous spring day Thursday. Sunshine, high 66 degrees tomorrow. Lows tomorrow night, not as cold in the mid-40s. And then Friday, cloudy, high 66 degrees. Rain comes into the forecast for the weekend with rain showers Saturday, high 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic stop and go 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and US 1923 exit 3. An accident reported on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. 26 westbound stop and go between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 westbound slowing between Airport Road and Long Shoals Road. Haywood County 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276. In North Asheville, Merriman Avenue north and southbound near Edgewood Road, traffic is slowing. Smoky Park Highway northbound near Sand Hill Road, delays. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right price. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, organizations always deal with, do we have the right person for X job? You want to make sure that whoever's in positions of power makes sound decisions. They're negotiating, fairly on your behalf. They're not being duped into making bad deals. And, people who have public leadership jobs, like, say, I don't know, the principal of a charter school. You want to know that you got the right person. You got a person in there with a little intelligence that could, see things coming before they make the wrong decision. Well, this is a case out of Florida where the principal of a school down there, not only did she do something horrible as far as financially for the school, but she was warned repeatedly not to do the thing that she set out to do, and it has cost her job. So this woman, I'll give you her name's Jan McGee. She's the principal of Burns Science and Technology in Oak Hill, Florida, which is in Volusia County. She got an email last year sometime from Elon Musk that he was interested in investing in the school. And so the conversation went on for several months, they say, where Elon Musk was telling her that he would be happy as, the man with gobs of money, the real-life Batman that Jeremy thinks he is.
Absolutely.
That he is willing to put $1 million into this school to help them be better. But there's a catch. There has to be an initial investment from the school to get the $1 million. So in order for Elon Musk to give $1 million to the school has to write him a check for $100,000. She goes to the others in leadership at the school and says, hey, Elon Musk wants to give us $1 million. All we got to do is give him $100,000. Jan, that sounds like a scam.
100%.
Definitely a scam. Have you talked to Elon Musk on the phone? No, we've been trading emails.
Yes.
Okay. Is his email address, chief@elonmusk.com? I don't like. How do you verify that you're actually talking to Elon Musk? You obviously would want to speak to him on the phone. You would want some other representatives of Amazon to be involved in this. Okay, they told her for months, don't do this. It's a scam. Well, she said, screw you guys. We need $1 million. And so here is $100,000 check written in the school's account.
Did she make it out to cash? Because that's the only way that this would.
That's the other thing. Like, how do you write a check for Elon Musk and then, I mean, that's on the other end. Like, do you tell her to make it out to Elon Musk and then you go cash the check?
It's not. It's not hard to change your name. I feel like that's just a few documents.
Maybe so. And for $100,000, why not? The good thing is the person who controls the finances for the school jumped in when she found out that the check had been written and canceled the check.
Wise.
They went to the school board meeting last night. And as you can imagine, there were a lot of people that were very upset about this. And in the middle of the meeting, the woman said, you know what? I quit. So everybody gets what they want.
Exactly.
You put a dumbass in charge of a school who gets scammed by fake Elon Musk. Yeah, you're not cut out for this job anymore.
Ironically enough,
these people teach our children.
Ironically enough, my story is also about somebody that was not necessarily qualified to be doing what they were doing. Do you know how skydiving works?
I mean, you put a parachute on, you jump out of a plane.
But you don't just do that. You have to do tandem jumps, and you got to go through all these things. Well, eventually, even if you're in a school, much like this one that is in California, it is called the Skydive Elsinore.
Okay.
It's a school where you learn to skydive.
All right.
Well, woman, first individual skydive. All right. This is in Lake Elsinore, which is about 70 miles southeast of Los Angeles. So she goes up, plane flies, gets to the spot, she jumps out, she releases her parachute as she is supposed to, and I don't know if the wind was blowing. I don't know. I don't know. They said she did everything perfectly correctly, and she completely overshot the airport where she was supposed to land.
Okay.
You care to take – what do they have a lot of in Los Angeles? Crimes. You know what? I regret even asking you that because nothing good was going to come from that.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways I could go to get me fired.
Power lines.
Aha.
Which she went
no
dead for.
Oh, no.
This could have gone.
On purpose?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I guess she got to a point of, looks like I'm landing in the middle of a city block, which is governed in power lines. Somehow, she missed the live power lines and managed to only get herself tangled in the parachute, at which time she had to be very carefully cut down by Cal Fire and Cal Riverside County Fire Department.
That's a lucky woman.
Yep. She said that multiple times. She also said some things that I can't say on this here program about how she almost dutied in her pants, which I completely would have.
Absolutely.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, if I'm going to turn into the French fry they left in the fryer too long, I'm doing it with messy bridges. All right, that's how this is going to go.
I feel like you're not going to have a choice in that scenario. Nope. The electricity is going to take care of that for you, and it's not going to end your way. That's frightening to me.
It's bad.
No.
Bad.
Dark Soldier in the YouTube comments says everyone should go to skydiving once in their lifetime. I have thought about it, but I don't think I have the ability.
Well,
I really don't.
Up until you lost a person, you didn't have the ability
because they didn't make parachutes that big.
Yeah, I don't know how big that parachute would have to be, but that's a big parachute carrying you and somebody else hurling to earth.
Right.
You would have been the guy that you'd have walked in and said, "I want to go skydiving," and every instructor would go, "I'm going on break."
Yeah.
Nope.
I love flying in airplanes, and I'm that guy that I gotta sit in the window seat. And I'm going to spend 98% of the flight looking straight down. I love flying in an airplane. Yeah.
You're that guy.
What?
First of all, I'll see every time, never not.
Well, you're a big dude.
I am.
You got to have leg room.
In the words of the great Ric Flair, he's a real big dude.
Yeah.
You're
that size that you only fold up when the drink cart comes by.
Oh yeah, I'm legs in the aisle every time, never stops. I did the window seat one time.
I'm only 5'4", so I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, 5'4".
Stop
5'4" in a pair of high heels standing on a hill.
See, I thought I'd get ahead of the joke on that one, and then it went worse.
Make them laugh. Make them laugh.
Yeah, no, I love flying. I've told you this. I've said this many times on this show. I'm not so afraid of heights. I'm just afraid of falling from them. So intentionally jumping out of an airplane makes 0 sense to me.
You're not wrong.
It is the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. Take a quick break. When we come back from the break, we'll end out the hour talking about the draft needs for one of the teams that doesn't have a whole lot of draft capital in the 2023 draft. It's the Denver Broncos next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and US 1923 exit 3. Future 26 eastbound delays between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 eastbound is slow between Fanning Bridge Road and Hendersonville Road. 26 westbound slowing west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276 in Haywood County. North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound near Edgewood Road. Traffic is slowing. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right price. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
On the free iHeartRadio app, you never pay to hear what you love, and you never wait to hear what you want. Save your money, save your time, and listen anywhere. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio. Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Lowe's knows how to get your lawn ready for spring. And right now, you can take up to $10 off select Scott's fertilizers. Plus, you can save $50 on a Craftsman 20-volt 13-inch string trimmer and leaf blower combo kit. Now just $99. Get set for spring. Visit us in-store or online today because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 3/23 through 4/5. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
We're back in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville, the Sportsocracy, bringing you the best in draft miss coverage.
Oh, draft mystery. Oh, draft mystery.
Talking draft needs of each and every team in the NFL, and today we're talking about teams that don't have a lot of capital in this draft class.
Look for my EP of draft my songs to drop on Spotify soon.
The Denver Broncos are next up, and obviously it's been it's been an interesting couple of years because, they traded for Russell Wilson last offseason, didn't have a great year, then they fired their first-year head coach in Nathaniel Hackett. And now Sean Payton's in the building, and things are going to be a little bit different moving forward.
Without a doubt. I mean, look, and I'm looking at the offense now, going, if this is not good enough, and Russell can't make this work with Sean Payton, he's a lost cause.
Mm-hmm.
It's just over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL last year. I mean, he was Zach Wilson bad at times. And now the Walton family did exactly what they had to do. They spent the money. They spent the draft pick to go get Sean Payton. And then you spent big in free agency. Hadn't been Powers, Mike McGlinchey. That fixes what was a big problem. I have a funny feeling this team is going to run much more than people think.
I mean, I would agree with that. Javonte Williams comes back from injury.
Well, I mean, the reason that sounds so odd is because you're thinking with Sean Payton, just chuck the ball over the yard. That's not how you're setting this team up.
No, and it's going to be a lot of – I mean, it's going to be a lot of Saints-type stuff. I mean, you're going to be running the ball. You're going to be doing a lot of running back screens and such. You're also going to be keeping things closer to the vest. I don't know if you want to stretch the field a whole lot.
I mean, and I think the defense is good. I don't know that it's that I believe in as much as you do. I feel like you think Denver's a top 3-4 defense in the league.
I feel like they have the potential for that.
I don't. I mean, I think they're a top 10. I don't know that the defense is good enough to just win you games if the offense is not as bad as last year. It almost can't be as bad as it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're going to have a steady dose of Russ is going to have to get closer to what he was in Seattle. Now, you go into the draft, and we're talking about you today because you don't have a whole lot of draft capital. It's 5 picks. 4 of them are between 67 and 139. And then you got the one outlier at 195 late in day 3.
Mm-hmm.
What is, in your opinion, their biggest need is what? Because for me, it's not even close.
I would say it's defensive lineman.
I mean, that's on my list, but that's not my one.
What's your one?
My one's an edge guy. I need somebody in a class like this where you got too many guys like Andre Carter and Zach Harrison that I think could fall to one of those picks in the 60s. That's what I'm after.
Mm-hmm.
I want the guy that falls in my lap. I understand that you like Baron Browning. Analytically, he was awful. With my eyeballs, he was awful. Randy Gregory was better than I thought he would be. I hammered that when Denver did it, and frankly, I served to be pretty wrong.
Mm-hmm. I like the Randy Gregory signing. Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, he didn't. The thing about him is he only played 6 games, so I didn't get a huge sample size. I probably shouldn't say that I was wrong. It's just what I saw was good, and then it all went to in a handbasket.
But what this defense has hung its hat on in recent years is having 2 of those guys.
Yes.
You had Von Miller and Bradley Chubb.
And there's a narrative around the team that's what happened to Baron Browning, and that's why it wasn't particularly good, is because you didn't have that.
Right. You don't have that guy in the building, but maybe you could find that guy in the draft.
I feel like it. I feel like linebacker, you're good. You got the safeties you want. Corners are good. I need somebody. that scares you off the edge. And then it's just adding depth.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that nobody talks with Denver, they were killed by the end of the year. I mean, when it really went bad, and the Rams? Isn't that the one where it was?
Yeah. They just beat the hell out of them.
Oh, yeah. That was on
54 to
Christmas
5
or something like that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And it was painful. That team was killed. And so this is the reason that I hated the Russell Wilson trade so much. I mean, I didn't know he was going to be as bad as he was last year. But when you get yourself in this situation, I feel like they've done a good job of not having just a gaping hole. Yes, there are some places I would like to address on the defensive line like you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have the, oh, good Lord, we've got to come up with a player here. So there's a merit to that. I think this team will bounce back to a point. But going into the draft, it is who falls in my lap. And we'll be putting out a 3-round mock draft for the Broncos, and it's 2 players that are shockingly still there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think Sean Payton's going to do, is I have a higher grade on this guy. Is it necessarily the definitive A1 no doubt need? Maybe not. But this is a player that shouldn't still be here. And so I'm going to try to recoup some capital, no trades and anything like that. I'm going to get a guy that we had on our board at 45 at 68. And it happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to worry about positional needs.
Yeah.
I need depth.
Yeah. I would also like to see this team add another receiver, but with 5 draft picks, that can't be a priority, I don't think.
Notorious B.I.G. in our YouTube comment said, what happened to Nick Benito? Okay, let me maybe rephrase this edge thing. I'm okay with Benito for about 20 snaps a game,
mm-hmm.
and he's real whittle. I'm if I could combine Baron Browning and Nick Benito into the same person, then I wouldn't have this problem. The problem is that I can't.
Yeah.
So, do I think you're going to find that at 68? No, probably not. You're going to be doing the same thing next year where Benito's in on passing downs. Baron Browning's in on more of the first 2 downs. I want to find a guy that takes that over by mid-year, if I can. We did top 13s earlier. There's a slew of guys in this class that can be that pass rusher. But that defense got to be really, really good.
Mm-hmm. And I still feel like they have the capability to be really good. You plug a hole here and there, you never know what the ceiling for this team can be. Now, am I saying that they're going to come out and they're going to, in year 1 with Sean Payton, threaten the Kansas City Chiefs at the top of the division? No. Or in the words of Jeremy Greene, good Lord, no. But this can be a solid, almost make the playoffs kind of a team. See what additions we can make next offseason. I wouldn't be shocked to see them as a player in a couple of years.
The thing is, that division is so good. It's so young. And, all right, let's say Russ comes out and he's exactly what he was in Seattle. How long do you think that's going to happen? And Russell Wilson and I are practically the same age.
Yeah.
So it's not like this is a long-term solution.
Right. Does he have to play at a style that is way below his age?
I think what I'm saying? Look, my thought with Denver is the best-case scenario is that he turns into the absolute best game manager in the NFL. Runs a little bit,
mm-hmm.
gets out of the pocket because he was allergic to doing that last year. I feel like the line, you've already helped them to that point, so I don't have to address that. I don't have to do it with rookies.
Mm-hmm.
So I can throw darts at a board trying to hit home runs because I don't have any capital and hope I hit one, and that's better than what your capital suggests you'll be able to do.
5 picks in the draft for the Denver Broncos. We shall see how it turns out for them. We'll talk about the Miami Dolphins coming up in the next hour, another team with little draft capital. Actually, they are the one with the least draft capital in 2023. And, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Keep it locked into the Sportsocracy for all of your Draftmas coverage. The Daily Draft is coming up next. The last 6 classes of edge rushers. Where would we take them?
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
It's the cooler side of March again tonight with below average numbers near freezing in the valley, some 20s in the higher elevations tonight. Another gorgeous spring day Thursday. Sunshine, high 66 degrees tomorrow. Lows tomorrow night, not as cold in the mid-40s. And then Friday, cloudy, high 66 degrees. Rain comes into the forecast for the weekend with rain showers Saturday, high 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and US 1923 exit 3. Future 26 eastbound delays between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 eastbound is slow between Fanning Bridge Road and Hendersonville Road. 26 westbound slowing west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276 in Haywood County. North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound near Edgewood Road, traffic is slowing. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. During Staples Teacher-Palooza, teachers save big, or you save, like 20% on all Crayola products, plus 24-pack cases of True Clear bottled water, only $3.99. In-store only, offer ends 4/1 while supplies last. Limit 1 on water. Help your favorite teacher stock their classroom at Staples. Staples Print and Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends 4/15. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your sign to try Staples, where prints are perfect, guaranteed.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. One of the NBA's biggest stars makes his return to the court tonight. Power forward Kevin Durant back after missing the last 10 games with a left ankle sprain. He'll make his son's home debut versus the Timberwolves. With Minnesota just a game and a half back of fourth-place Phoenix in the West, this is a pivotal matchup for both teams, explains ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst.
The Wolves have won 5 in a row. They're on the heels of the Suns for seeding. This is a big game. This isn't just about KD getting in. They need to win. KD knows it. That's why he's coming back for this game. So I'm expecting a great game on ESPN, I might add.
Ryan Windhorst on First Take. Coverage of Minnesota and Phoenix, 10 Eastern tonight, ESPN TV. The Timberwolves' Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards are both probable. After sitting out last night's game with a thigh issue, Grizzlies point guard John Morant expected back tonight against the Clippers. ESPN's Pete Thamels reporting VCU's Mike Rhodes has agreed to become the next men's basketball coach at Penn State. From ESPN's Jeff Borzello, Utah Valley's Mark Madsen. The former Stanford star and NBA veteran will be Cal's next head coach.
How would you love a chance to save some money on car insurance? Geico can help. Switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote and get started seeing how much you could save.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
This is the Sportsocracy, final hour of the day here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. It is it's a draftmas season. I mean, we're all things NFL draft. Obviously, we'll give you the greatest and latest headlines from around the NFL. Not a whole lot to talk about in the other sports at the moment. Jeremy gives you his bangers on the NBA every night.
Oh, yeah, John Morant's coming back tonight. That's appointment television.
Yeah. We did have a banger of a Hall of Fame class named today, but you want to find out about that, and you can tune in somewhere else. This is Football Central. We are Draftmas Central until the April, 28th? It's the April 28th draft?
I think I've been saying the wrong day. Nope, April 27th. That was right.
April 27th. April 27th NFL draft. We will be covering each and every pick live here in the Sportsocracy. All 3 days, every pick. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You want to be a part of that. It's so much fun each and every week, or each and every year that we do it. It just gets better and better and better. And this year will be no different. So always tune in to us here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. We're heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. And you can see us, of course, on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com. Click that live video link. Subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. Now, today's daily draft, as it has been for the last few daily drafts, aside from Monday where we do the stock up, stock down, we're doing each of the classes of the 2023 NFL Draft. We did the top 13 in the 4 o'clock hour, and then we draft the last 6 classes. Where would the prospects fall in if we had our choice?
And that sounds like a weird number. It's this year and the previous 5.
Yes.
So
you go from this year's class back to 2018. Where would you take today's edge rushers in a draft? I have the first pick.
It's a bad day to have the first pick, too.
And I don't – look, to me, I'm very happy to have the first pick because, look, I feel like it's a little close at the top. But for me, there was far and away.
I mean, there's two that I can take that had the same score. So I'm going to get one of the two.
Mm-hmm. There's far and away to me, Nick Bosa was the best prospect coming out. I get Chase Young. He was right there, on the heels of Nick Bosa leaving Ohio State. Chase became the next thing. And again, this is not hindsight is 2020. This is not looking back on Nick Bosa's career so far. Coming out of school, I thought Nick Bosa was a little bit better than Chase Young.
Well, I said I had two, and so I was sure to get one.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you just take a guy that I wasn't expecting you to take, and I get them both.
Okay.
It's Chase Young and Will Anderson.
Oh, Will Anderson. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I have them both scored higher than I had Bosa coming out.
Really?
Not by, I mean, it's fractional.
Okay.
It's 1/10 of a point. I guess I had been so locked into I'm going to get one of these two that I hadn't really considered you could have had Bosa ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because it makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
I did not.
Well, Will Anderson gets the downgrade for me for the penalty issues this past year.
And to me, that's almost like saying I'm not going to buy this house because it's got an ugly mailbox. No, no, that's not going to get me off of it. So
no, it's a location. This one's just not in as primo of a location as some of the other mansions that we looked at.
Oh yeah, it is for me.
Okay,
that's exactly why we do things like this, is to give you for me, this is a Chase Young level prospect, which I had just a hair above Bosa.
Mm-hmm.
Now I am with bated breath waiting to hear where you go next.
Well, it's Aiden Hutchinson. I was so high on this kid last year, and
you were.
And Jeremy, you had your misgivings about him, and I know that his first few weeks of the season didn't look all that great. I mean, he did have that one game where he had 3 sacks, but then it was kind of spotty until finally he got into a groove later in the season. Again, this is not looking back on what he did. I'm just saying, if you had your questions, I can understand why. He's not on that level. He's not on the Chase Young, Nick Bosa, Will Anderson level, but he is so close for me. I mean,
you liked him better than I did.
Yeah, his motor is something that is unmatched to me out of even those 3 guys that have already been taken. I still think they have better talent, but Aiden Hutchinson is just a get-after-it guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I love it.
He's a fantastic player. Had a fantastic rookie year. In most years, he would have been Rookie of the Year. Unfortunately, another little guy in New York wears big sauce on his chain.
Can't wait to see where Sauce Gardner goes in the cornerback draft.
I can go ahead and tell you it's going to be real high.
That's a day you better hope you get number 1.
Who chooses that?
Oh, yeah.
I have a funny feeling.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I have a funny feeling. I'm done.
All right, so I'll take Aiden Hutchinson. And this is where I had the problem of I don't really know who's next.
Really? There's one that okay, all right. You pick yours, and then there may have to be a ruling of how this one is considered.
It's Kayvon Thibodeau.
Okay. That he was one of the 3 on my list here.
Mm-hmm.
But he would not have been my choice because there's one, but I have a funny feeling you're going to tell me that this one doesn't qualify.
Okay.
Micah Parsons.
Yeah, he doesn't qualify. He's
still an edge rusher. I said that the entire draft season is he can get after a quarterback.
Yeah,
and he had some character red
not his
flags.
primo, but if that was the case, he should have gone number 1.
No. He wasn't rated above any of the ones that have been said yet for me.
Really?
He had some real serious character red flags.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that, and I didn't really care then, and I don't care now of that stuff that he did when he was a freshman, and I feel
that wasn't it. There was more than that.
Oh, there was more than that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
All right, so we're saying I can't take him.
I mean, to me, he was a linebacker.
Okay. That's fine. It really hadn't crossed my mind because I lump all of these together.
Right.
Okay. So that makes the Kayvon Thibodeau make a lot more sense to me because he would.
Yeah, Micah Parsons was never on my board because I consider him a linebacker.
Okay. And that's fair enough. No anger there. So my next one is really easy. It's Brian Burns.
That's a good
Coming
one.
out of Florida State. I was drunk on this kid. Now, I did say some stupid things that he really needed to stand up. So, okay. Just he can do anything.
But you understood. But everyone understood. Nobody went, "Oh, Jeremy, you're an idiot." Because, look at him. He was a beanpole coming out of Florida State.
Mm-hmm. And then, you know what? This is not how I have this scored, but I almost feel like I've written this down wrong because I was so hammered on this guy. It's Josh Allen. When he was coming out of Kentucky, I honestly thought there were times that I said he might be the best player in this draft because I was just in absolute love with him, and that was 2019. That was the Daniel Jones draft because they took Daniel Jones right in front of Josh Allen, and I think my brain broke.
All right. So that was Josh Allen.
And Brian Burns. Your next two are really intriguing to me.
One's going to be Bradley Chubb.
I did not like him.
I know you were not a big fan of Bradley Chubb, but it was hard to deny the stats that he put up at NC State. I mean, he just looked like an absolute freak of nature. To me, there was no denying that he was going to be a really good player at the next level. Obviously not in the generational talent discussion, but he was pretty spot on for me. So Bradley Chubb is my 4.
Oh, and I totally lied. You said there's always one off the wall. I do have an off the wall one.
You do have an off the wall
one. And as soon as I say it, you'll go, yeah, it is a guy whose name you said 446 jillion times.
And then my last pick, I know this is going to sound crazy to some people, but this is a guy that I was absolutely in love with when he came out. He was not the best edge rusher coming off the board, but when Harold Landry came out of Boston College, I just thought, this kid's going to be special. And we didn't see it in his first couple of years in the league, but year before last, he had a phenomenal year, and I was kind of heartbroken when he came up with an injury and missed all of last season. I still think he's got a lot of good pass rush days left in him, and I'm glad that he finally popped. But I was super high on Landry.
I was not, and there's not a ton of guys left that I was super high on, but there is one, Drake Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Out of USC, now a rotational piece for the 49ers. And you mark my words, with what they lost, next year's going to be the year you go, oh, yeah, Jeremy was right about that.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Now with the guys that they've already lost off the defensive line, he will be the other starter, and you will look at him and go, oh, that's what he meant by that. Because he is not of this earth.
All right, there you have it. Our classes of edge rushers. Jeremy went with Chase Young, Will Anderson, Brian Burns, Josh Allen, and Drake Jackson. I, on the other hand, number 1 pick went Nick Bosa, then Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau, Bradley Chubb, and Harold Landry.
And for posterity's sake, the next 2 picks for me would be Tyree Wilson and Lucas Van Ness.
This is always the hardest one to me.
Edge rushers?
Yeah. Because I don't know who qualifies. Like the Micah Parsons thing. Is he a linebacker? Is he an edge rusher? How do we jive that?
Well, there were teams telling me that they saw him as a defensive end, so that's why I've got him on the list. I thought he was going to play standing up, but he was at least categorized with the edge rushers.
Brian Burns was also another one that
Brian
was
Burns was always
listed as a linebacker,
he was
defensive
always an edge
end.
rusher.
Yeah, I'm sure, but you get what I'm saying.
See, but I guess that's you categorize things differently than I do. Because I have edge rushers, I have linebackers, but linebackers for me are off-ball guys.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the edges fall into me, and then there's a little notation on standing up or not.
Right. You are,
and then I go techniques.
Yeah,
that's a lot of you would. I don't want anybody to crash their car because I bore them to death.
Three-dimensional chess, and no need to get that technical. That's your daily draft for today. The last 6 classes of edge rushers. I can't wait for the draft must to come around, the actual draft. Coming up on April the 27th.
It's the Draftmas season.
That's right.
And Draftmas sweaters, Draftmas carols. I can't wait. I'm totally making a Draftmas sweater. If there's anybody out there that can knit, call me. I ain't hard to find.
Jeremy wants one with all of the logos on it, right? Is that what you're looking for?
I was thinking ugly Christmas sweater.
100%.
Yeah, I can follow.
You do ugly Christmas sweater. You do the Draftmas tree with each team as the ornaments.
I also want. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah,
that's
terrible.
Probably the right goal.
It is the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Stick with us.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Drive you slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and US 1923, exit 3. Future 26 eastbound slow between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 eastbound slow between Fanning Bridge Road and Hendersonville Road. 26 westbound slowing approaching Long Shoals Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound in Haywood County crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road slow. I'm Lyman Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. If you're like many people, you may think custom blinds is a job for expensive professionals. Well, at Blindster, if you have a tape measure and a screwdriver, you can install our custom blinds and save big. Plus, we guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
You are invited to dinner with us. Hello, my name is Stan Asher, lead pastor of Connection Point. I want to invite you to come and find hope, encounter truth, and experience love. We invite you to join us every Wednesday evening, 6:15 p.m. for a free meal followed by small groups, life-relevant Bible studies for every age group at 7 p.m. We also have an exciting children's ministry. We are located at 142 Elk Mountain Road, Asheville, North Carolina, 28804. Check us out on the web to learn more at connectionpointcog.org. We'll be looking for you.
Don't miss the factory authorized clearance at Sonny's Camp and Travel. All 2022 RVs must go. Look for the blue tags with clearance pricing up to 40% off on America's favorite brands. Hurry. When the tags are gone, so are the savings. Get 40% off at the factory authorized clearance at Sonny's Camp and Travel, a Blue Compass RV company. Visit Sonny'sRV.com. Example 22 Braxton Creek Free Solo, number SI 1026, MSRP 22,222. See dealer for details.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. We will not be with you tomorrow, unfortunately. We got opening day with the Atlanta Braves here on ESPN Asheville, so a little off day for us tomorrow. We will, however, have Draftmas content coming out for you on the YouTube stream. We'll have 3-round mock drafts, team by team, coming out tomorrow.
Painstakingly, I'll be on a golf course, but there's zero doubt in my mind that is how I'm spending my day off.
Good for you.
At this rate, I'm probably going to be playing by myself, but I don't really care. I got some pent-up frustration, and I'm trying to see if I can make you crack on the screen.
There's jokes, and I'm not going into it.
We're 12. We're actually 12 years old, and we talk on your radio bucks every day.
NFL news today. We talked in the first hour about the flex schedules for Thursday night football. That idea has been tabled. They will allow teams, or are currently going to allow teams, to have multiple Thursday night games coming up in the season, which I feel like we already had. Did we not have repeats last year?
No.
Really? Anyhow, teams may have multiple appearances on Thursday night football. They've tabled the idea of the flex schedule. The owners' meetings continue down in Phoenix, and you've got headlines here and there of coaches that are talking about their teams. But you did have one move made today that
look. There is one story that I think has this says a lot. If we're talking, I think we're talking about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a signing?
Yes.
Was it a big player with a weird team?
Yes, it was.
Calais Campbell to the Atlanta Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
When he met with them, I genuinely laughed out loud and thought, he's getting a stake on Arthur Blank's dime. Because then he talked to the Jets, and heard he had talked to the Bills and some others, and I thought, okay, he's going to chase a ring with one of these teams that's legitimate. And then when this headline broke out today, I went, what am I missing here?
1-year deal for Calais Campbell to show up with the Atlanta Falcons, and you would think that a guy of his advanced age in the NFL would want to chase rings, would want to go somewhere where you can win now. No one views Atlanta like that, I don't feel, unless you're a Falcons fan.
Apparently he does. Because you had a lot of big name contenders that were interested in putting this guy in the ring because he's one of the best guys in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Great mentor if you've got young defensive tackles and all of those things, which is where my brain immediately went. Does this not scream they're drafting Jalen Carter?
It would make a lot of sense.
It screams to me they're drafting Jalen Carter. And they're going to have this guy as the father figure in the room to make sure his career gets off to the right start.
It makes a lot of sense. And then you have Grady Jarrett and...
Well, I mean, you got a front three that's Jalen Carter, Grady Jarrett, and Calais Campbell. That is horrifying.
Right. But I'm saying, going forward, you would have Jalen Carter and Grady Jarrett as the stars on that defensive line in the future. I don't know what to make of this. I don't know what little secrets, what honey could they have dripped in Calais Campbell's ear to make him go, yeah, this is a good idea. I want to compete for something this year.
Well, I mean,
at best you're competing for the division. And is that enough? If you're a 38-year-old guy searching for relevance?
What it tells me is that there has been a complete culture switch in Atlanta. I mean, there was a long time that Atlanta would not have gotten a Jesse Bates. They would not have gotten a Calais Campbell Even David Onyemata, who's another piece of the defensive line, I do not think that precludes them from taking Jalen Carter. But it says a lot. And it says people around this league, and I've gotten a little bit of this today, they think this defense is going to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
And it all falls back to Desmond Ridder. And I just, for the life of me, can't figure out, with all of the things you have, the amount of money that you've still got, I can't for the life of me figure out why you're not making a call to the one whose name shall not be mentioned on the show. I mean, look, I'm going to break my own rule. I put this on conversation probation. I'm breaking it. Name's on the door.
You can't.
Sorry about it. Do you not, if Lamar Jackson becomes the next starting quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons, where would you put Atlanta in the NFC? If it's Lamar Jackson, not Desmond Ridder.
5-ish? Just off the top of my head?
In the NFC.
Yeah, maybe.
Who do you have ahead of them?
God, I'd have Philadelphia. San Francisco. I would have...
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't have San Francisco ahead of them?
I wouldn't have Detroit ahead of... I'd have them at 2. They'd be the second best team in the NFC to me. The Dallas Cowboys would be just fractionally behind them. The only difference is I'm looking at the schedule Atlanta gets to play and what Dallas has to play. Yeah, that's different. That's drastically different. And I'm just looking at this going, maybe all right, I keep a tinfoil hat in my desk just in case the birds surround the building and the government starts trying to control my thoughts. Am I crazy to think that that's what they told him? Am I insane, like out of my mind? Calais Campbell comes from the Baltimore Ravens, obviously has a relationship with Lamar to some point.
Mm-hmm.
Then he signs with Atlanta, and it doesn't make a lick of sense. Could have signed with the Jets. You could have signed with the Bills. You could have signed with the Bengals, who were said to have some
interest. Did they hint to him that they're going to go after Lamar?
I don't know. I'm trying to make this make sense. I get that you've had the talks in the room and everything's better and it's all hunky dunky. You got a 38-year-old guy who spent a ton of his career in Arizona, and now you're getting him to end his days in Atlanta, and you're telling me he's going into this with Desmond Ridder? I struggle to believe that. And maybe I'm being a conspiracy theorist, and maybe it's, we're in the end of March, and it's a slow time. Paul Richardson says, did you not hear what Arthur Blank said? Let me be perfectly clear about this. We're at a point in the year, I don't believe anybody. If there's a microphone in front of them, they're lying because it's lying season, and that's what we do.
So what did he say?
That they were not interested in pursuing other quarterbacks. Desmond Ridder would be their starter. That's a bizarre thing to say in the end of March. I thought it was weird yesterday when it came out. I think it's weirder today.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm out of my mind. Maybe the birds are controlling my thoughts. Hashtag birds aren't real.
Maybe Arthur truly believes in Desmond Ridder. I
don't know how.
I find that hard to believe, but maybe it's true. And also you're looking at it from a standpoint of, do we want to do that? That's been the big thing with the Lamar Jackson scenario the whole time of, is this right for my franchise to do now? I feel like Atlanta makes a whole lot of sense. But if they have decided that we're not doing this, we're not pouring major money into a quarterback at this stage, we're just going to make the rest of the team better. To me, it's kind of like they're trying to do in a certain extent, the Tennessee Titans thing. It's, or the San Francisco 49ers thing of, I don't have to have a banger of a quarterback. All I have to have is somebody that can run the system, make some smart decisions here and there, which Desmond Ridder still has to prove. But we want to make the rest of the team as good as we can, and then we'll compete that way. I'm not saying it makes all the sense in the world. That's got to be the mindset of we can be competitive in the South with what we have.
Well, it's and in the chat, it's, the conversation probation didn't last long because things keep happening that I feel like have to be acknowledged. Arthur Blank does this interview where he basically says he doesn't want to spend a lot of time talking about it, but Lamar's situation is different than last year with Deshaun Watson. I really struggle to believe you there. Now, you can say it till you're blue in the face. I once heard Nick Saban say, I will not be the next head coach at Alabama. And guess what? He was on a plane 47 minutes later. So I felt like it needed to be touched on because the Calais Campbell thing has been rattling around in my brain since it broke a few hours ago.
Right. He's trying to make sense of it because it's hard to make sense of it. Like, Calais Campbell doesn't strike me as the guy who will turn down an opportunity somewhere else because he's not the guy. So that's not it. Like, he didn't refuse to go to or decide not to go to the New York Jets because he was afraid he wouldn't be the one to stand out.
Oh, I mean, and they were hot on him, too.
Yeah. So whatever they told him, it made him interested. It made him make the jump. Are they lying about LJ? Are they going to go after him? Or is this just a scenario where Calais Campbell looks at it and goes, this might be the best place that I can go for my last year or one of my last years. I can't imagine he'd go too much longer. And be well respected for what he's there to do.
All right. That won out. I had a great moral battle in my head of which was stronger. My urge to not talk about Lamar Jackson, who is, as of that saying of his name, back on conversation probation, or for me to give a good conspiracy theory, and I can't resist that, but so much.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Coming up after the break, we'll have the most important message of the day, and we'll talk about the draft needs for the Miami Dolphins with all 2 of their picks in this upcoming NFL draft. Stay tuned.
Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
It's the cooler side of March again tonight with below average numbers near freezing in the valley, some 20s in the higher elevations tonight. Another gorgeous spring day Thursday. Sunshine, high 66 degrees tomorrow. Lows tomorrow night, not as cold in the mid-40s. And then Friday, cloudy, high 66 degrees. Rain comes into the forecast for the weekend with rain showers Saturday, high 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slowing 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Future 26 west and eastbound delays between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 eastbound stop and go between Bavard Road and the French Broad River. 26 westbound slowing approaching Long Shoals Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Hendersonville Road north and southbound near Smiley's Flea Market. Traffic is stop and go. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. North Asheville, Merriman Avenue north and southbound near Edgewood Road. Traffic slow. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Shopping for new blinds? At Blindster, we offer over 50 different blinds, shades, and shutters at low prices, custom made for your windows, and shipping is free. Shop at home and order 10 free samples of any product before you buy. Blindster.com.
All the radio stations you love, every playlist to match your mood, the podcasts that everyone's talking about. If it's on the iHeartRadio app, it's free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio. Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. a premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
This is the Sportsocracy, and it's time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
This one
That is the longest staggered pause in the history of time.
Well, this one is very interesting to me because, crimes were done, but it just goes to show you, we like to use the FAFO scale on this program. If you fa, you shall fo.
If you don't know what FAFO means, Google it.
Google it. GTS.
I'll give you a hint. It ends and find out.
Exactly. So I feel like when you run from the cops, that's a major fa. And you shall eventually fo. You're eventually going to get caught. I can't remember a single time where we went, we had this high-speed chase. We were looking for a guy, and never found him.
I have a funny feeling you're telling my story.
Oh, no.
It's fine. I have another.
Does this involve a high-speed chase?
Sure does.
And a helicopter?
Sure does.
Oh, then
That's
I guess
fine.
it is the
That's
same
all right.
story.
That's all right. I got another.
Anyway, so last week, a young man ran from the police, led them on a high-speed chase, went upwards of 135 miles per hour down in the Baton Rouge area of Louisiana. And it's not necessarily the chase that has him facing extra charges here. It's what happened during the chase. So this was a chase where, obviously, you had car on car. They also had two cops in a helicopter. During the search and the tracking of this high-speed chase, the helicopter crashes. Sadly, two law enforcement officers lose their life. Now, the guy got caught, as they do, and not only is he facing aggravated charges for eluding the police, they have also tacked on 2 charges of manslaughter because the cops would not have been in that scenario had he not done what he did. So now, the story was not clear on what he was being chased for to begin with.
It's now significantly more significant than it was, and I hope they put him under the jail.
Absolutely.
That actually was not the story I was going to tell, but I have in my
Interesting.
I have in my search here found a story that has piqued my interest even more, and it comes from northern Mexico. As you do, some people have weird pets.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read this story verbatim, and you tell me where the weird in this comes in. Prosecutors in the violent northern state of Sonora, a lot of drug activity right there, it's on the northern border of Mexico, said Tuesday they're searching for a full-grown Bengal tiger named Baluma.
Okay.
They said the 5-year-old male tiger was stolen from a home Monday in the state capital of Hermosillo. I have but one question to ask here.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell do you steal a full-grown Bengal tiger? Like, did you have meat and you let it into a truck and it just went,
Maybe.
I feel like at any given time, your thievery plot could have been deceived by the large cat that could eat you. I also want to know, why would you steal a tiger? What are you going to do with it?
I don't know. Maybe you've seen
think you're gonna
Scarface way
tame
too many
it?
times. You've seen Scarface way too many times.
I'm starting to think you've seen Silence of the Lambs too many times. Put it in the pit. You'll make it love you eventually.
Well, I mean, if the cat was being kept as a pet to begin with,
they said.
I mean, it wasn't stolen from a zoo.
No, it's stolen from somebody's house.
Right. So this is a domesticated big cat, which obviously they still can kill you.
I was
and,
about
and
to
will
say.
snap on you.
I was about to say domesticated big cat. That's. I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean,
there was nothing wrong in that phrase.
Right. I mean, if watching the Tiger King taught you anything, they all can have a little bit of that in them. But there's still a natural beast, a natural predator.
No doubt.
That just at any moment they could decide, okay, your life's done.
They said the owners of the cat had all of the proper paperwork needed to keep the animal.
Okay.
So they were not illegally housing this animal. Prosecutors then distributed photos of the big cat resting in its cage alongside a dog. I revert back to the FAFO scale. Not only did you have a big cat in your home, you thought it and the dog were like buddies.
And they probably were.
Mm-hmm. You ever heard that story about cats and what happens if you die in your house?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you see where I'm headed with this. I feel like there was a lot of fawing going on. And the fact that the cat got stolen might actually be a blessing in disguise, because whoever this is has it's just got this feeling of big cat owner eaten by pet. That's the headline I'm seeing in my head based off just one little 4-paragraph story.
See, that's not even the most interesting part of this story for me. The most interesting part of the story to me is who owned the cat. Because that's the thing. Like, I don't feel like random guy living down the street has a big cat in northern Mexico.
So
this had to be the home of a drug cartel guy.
And that's, it's interesting you said that because they don't specifically say that, but the last paragraph says Mexico has long had a problem with people keeping and occasionally losing control of large cats, which are sometimes found at drug traffickers' residences.
Of course they are.
And are occasionally seen wandering loose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, inflation's bad, but I've never seen a cat walking down Merriman Avenue. So, okay.
Blame Martin Scorsese for that. That's straight out of the Scarface movie that Jeremy's never seen.
Nope.
He has no idea what I'm talking about.
Nope. No.
Scarface got a tiger at one point as like a wedding gift.
Sure he did.
Yeah.
So as you do.
I mean, that's like a drug culture thing.
Well, I mean, I'm really curious who will be getting Amy and I a lovely gift of a ring bear.
Oh, I'm buying you a squirrel. I'm gonna get you a ring squirrel.
I'll feed it to the ring bear. The ring bear it may be domesticated.
No one is gonna let you have an actual bear at your wedding.
I ask a very basic question here. Who's going to tell me no? Who's going to tell me no?
Are you doing it within the city limits?
Yep.
Pretty sure Asheville Police Chief David Zach's going to tell you can't do that.
Asheville Police Chief David Zach will be at my wedding, and frankly, there is a grand chance that I'm going to ask forgiveness, not permission. And I'm just going to show up on the top floor of the Capitol Club. Jeremy's got a friend on a leash.
Yeah, you need to.
And he's been feeding it fishies since, I don't know, 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. So to that bear, there's only one friend it has in the world. That is this bear. Who's going to tell me no?
Again, law enforcement will definitely tell you no. I feel like that's a whole bunch of permitting.
I got a bear. I got a bear. I got a bear. Hey, 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 hey.
Jeremy, don't do crimes.
Sometimes, it's when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
As the draftmas season rolls on here, we got to talk draft needs for each and every team. And so yesterday we gave you 3 of the teams with the most draft capital in 2023. Today, 3 of the teams with the least. And the team with the least amount of draft picks is the Miami Dolphins.
Oh,
Yeah, you were too slow.
I was too slow.
I paused and you didn't do it.
Well, I mean, the last time you paused, I actually thought you were having some kind of infarction.
I mean, I usually am.
At that time, is it good? Is it? Oh.
So the Miami Dolphins, how many draft picks do they actually have?
Total 5.
Okay, so it's not terrible.
It's not great either.
It's not great. You got a second-round pick, third-round pick, then you got a 6 and a 7.
No, they have 4.
Have 4.
They have 4. I'm sorry.
They got a 6, a 7, and a 2 and a 3.
I forgot about the Jalen Ramsey deal. So they have 51, 84, 197, and 238.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk needs here. What do the Miami Dolphins need most?
I feel like it's playmakers. I would love Jahmyr Gibbs to fall to them. Mm-hmm. I know he's not a perfect fit for them, but I'm not sure how long you can continue to count on retread, constantly injured running backs from the San Francisco 49ers and not think it's going to bite you at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I get that you brought back Raheem Mostert, and I get that you brought back Jeff Wilson. But if one of these high-level guys falls in their lap, I struggle to believe that they won't take them. Because Jahmyr Gibbs is just a different guy. Now, do I think he's going to fall this far? No, I don't. But Devin A-Chain, if he somehow got there, that's another ridiculously fast player to add to this offense.
Mm-hmm.
Tight end is a huge need to me. And for whatever reason, I can't get away from them taking Tucker Kraft because I think that's the one that's going to fall to them. And he does have a little bit of that. I mean, George Kittle's the best tight end I've ever seen in this type of offense.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a little of that to him. He's super raw, but he could come in and do it right away.
Well-rounded pass catcher, blocker, all of the things.
Well, I mean, the problem with Mike Gesicki is that he couldn't obstruct.
Yeah.
Obstruct. Yeah, that's not the word. Block was what I was looking for. I don't know why I said obstruct.
Well, I mean, it's the
I
same
think
thing.
I had an infarction.
It's the same thing.
That or I slept with a thesaurus last night. I'm not really sure which one.
Good use of the word thesaurus.
Yeah, if you had that in sports accuracy
I didn't
bingo,
know
you win.
I didn't know you knew dinosaurs.
And there was the dad joke. You want to know this
You
show?
know it was coming.
You want this show in a nutshell? There it was.
Yeah.
I'm a big dumb bear, and he's a big dumb punny bear.
Yep.
There it is. I just feel like Miami has had a phenomenal offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got Xavier Howard as the 2, Jalen Ramsey. So you've really, to me, dealt with the secondary. The David Long signing at linebacker is one of my favorite that anybody has had all offseason long. And so I'm looking at your defense going, you need a big guy in the middle because you still don't have a nose tackle to me.
Mm-hmm.
Raekwon Davis, okay, he bees big real well. You know what else he bees? Bad. Do you know how many defensive linemen in the NFL have a worse collective PFF rating over the last 2 years than Raekwon Davis?
3.
0.
Oh.
It's not nary a one of them.
Yikes.
So if somebody like Siaki Ika fell to that pick or Gervon Dexter, then I'd do it in a heartbeat. I don't think either one of them's going to be there. And so there are a few guys later in the draft that they're developmental. But if Ika or Gervon Dexter are on the board when they pick at 52 and they don't do it, they are out of their minds.
Okay.
But for me, their biggest needs, you need a running back, you need a tight end, like I said, the interior defensive lineman. And then that last pick, I wouldn't be averse to adding another linebacker just because there's no depth there whatsoever. This is a very well-rounded team.
Okay. You're good at wide receiver. You don't need another one. You got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Okay. Braxton Berrios comes in. I know you're a fan.
Was a fan.
You were a fan.
Yeah,
now.
he's the one that dropped the pass in Minnesota, which means dead to me.
Okay.
And then he signed with the Dolphins, which means deader to me.
Right. You got Cedric Wilson, who's still on this team, but I don't know.
I mean, and you're paying him. I don't know. How much money are you going to lock up into corners and wide receivers? I mean, I get that you've drafted reasonably well, but are you really going to commit more capital to a receiver when you have 4 picks? I mean, I don't value that to be a high-end need.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not a high-end need. It's kind of out there. If the right guy falls to us, then you got to take the shot.
Well, I mean, when you have this limited amount of capital, that's what you're going to do anyway.
Right. You have to maximize every pick that you have.
But for me, their best case scenario is a list of about 5 players that I think fit them really well. And I think I've said them all at some point. Jahmyr Gibbs, Devin Achane, Tucker Kraft, or one of the other tight ends that can actually block.
Mm-hmm.
So basically anybody but Dalton Kincaid. And then the 2 big nose tackles, Gervon Dexter and Siaki Ika. Any of those fall to me, let the good times roll. If somehow we manage to get 2 of them, it's been a great day. I don't see a chance of that happening, but if it were to.
Miami continues to make splashes with veteran players rather than the rookies. I mean, they were in the same boat last year. I think they only had 4 picks in last year's draft. Somehow they find a way to make this team better. I like Mike McDaniel as a head coach. I think it's obviously going to take some time. The big question mark for Miami is the quarterback situation, but there's nothing you can do about that.
In our YouTube comments, Daniel Hillman asked, isn't Christian Wilkins a defensive tackle? He is in a 4-man front. When they run the 3-man front, he plays out on the end. And then you wind up with, yes, Raekwon Davis weighs 335 pounds. Would you like to hear the rest of his qualifications to be a starting nose tackle in the NFL? Because I don't have any more. He bees big.
Yep.
That's it.
Just all about plugging holes. You are in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Each and every pick, all 3 days of the NFL Draft will be covered live here in the Ingles Studio. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and look forward to the 3-round team-by-team mock drafts that will start going out tomorrow in our absence. We've got more on that and close it out coming up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slowing 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 westbound on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, also very busy. Future 26 eastbound delays between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound delays between Hendersonville Road and Bavard Road. 40 westbound in Haywood County crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Near Fletcher, Hendersonville Road southbound approaching Fanning Bridge Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound slow approaching Mills Gap Road. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Want to save big on custom faux wood blinds, shutters, cellular shades, and more? Shop Blindster today and save up to 50% over comparable blinds from brick and mortar stores. Get custom blinds at low prices and free shipping at Blindster.com.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 85% water, right?
85% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients. Don't pay for water, pay for clean.
Save $10 when you spend $30 on Tide and Downy. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent. Must buy at least one participating Tide or Dreft detergent item, plus at least one participating Downy and or Bounce scent booster, liquid fabric softener, or dryer sheets. Prepaid card by mail. Visit pglaundryrebate.com for terms and conditions.
The Atlanta Braves are back, and this 2023 team is ready for another epic season.
1-1 pitch. There's a deep drive to left center field. This thing is clear for takeoff. Back-to-back home runs, Ozuna and Riley.
Thursday afternoon, it's the 2023 season opener live from Washington, D.C. as the Atlanta Braves open the season against the Nationals.
Airtime is 12:50 Thursday afternoon on your home for Braves baseball in Western North Carolina. ESPN Asheville.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cott?
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. This will be the last time that you hear our voices live, anyway, for the next day.
That was the last time I heard the two fat idiots on the radio until on Friday.
We will rejoin you Friday here in the Sportsocracy at 3 p.m. Tomorrow, Atlanta Braves opening day baseball. Braves baseball all season long. Right here on ESPN Asheville. And day games are fun. Gives us a little break in the Draftmas, the Draftmas live content.
Day games are golf days for this guy.
And we'll have 3-round team-by-team mock drafts coming out tomorrow in the 3 o'clock hour on the YouTube stream. So be sure to go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel, and you'll get the alerts on all of the videos as they come out.
But we have just staggering news.
Staggering?
I was trying to keep you from hitting that stupid button. Because it's not breaking.
You mean like...
Break the news. Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
I had to do it.
And that's why tomorrow's a golf day, boys and girls. Marvin Jones Jr. is signing with the Detroit Lions.
Wow.
$3 million deal with incentives that could push it up to $5 million.
Yeah, Marvin Jones Jr., he's still got some wheels left. He's still got some life left in that NFL body and returning to the yeah.
Does he though?
Sure.
Marvin Jones to me is the ham sandwich of wide receivers in the NFL.
Okay.
Have you ever looked at an artisan ham sandwich and just gone, masterpiece?
I mean, does it have spicy brown mustard on it?
Gross. There's one kind of mustard. It's yellow mustard, and French's is the only good kind.
Wow.
Deli mustard is gross.
You're insane.
It is gross.
Ugh.
But that is totally off the totally not the point of what I was trying to say.
Lusty Monk mustard. It's the best thing on the planet.
I used to deliver their mail. I had 10,000 bottles of that stuff and never tried not one of them.
Really?
Oh, I love those guys too. They're so wonderful. But yeah, I don't do deli mustard.
Oh, you're doing it wrong.
But Marvin Jones Jr. is just at this point. Does that actually preclude them from taking a receiver? Because
No.
I'm not gonna lie to you, we have one in the 3-round mock draft. It's already been recorded.
No, it
I don't think it does either.
It does not. You're not spending a whole boatload of money on him.
No, it's a 1-year fix. He's 33 years old. I think he brings because you got to realize that receiver room right now is pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Josh Reynolds is the old hat, and what is he, 28?
Mm-hmm. Veteran receiver comes into the room, helps groom these young guys into being professionals, and you can take another one. Like I said, you're not spending a whole boatload of money on him, and he's going to be a fourth option, just like he was in Jacksonville.
Played 581 passing snaps last year. There were only 10 receivers in the NFL that were rated worse than him, according to PFF.
Nice.
So I'd probably set the bar low.
Mm-hmm.
He was the 6th best receiver in the NFL his second year in the league. Never been higher than 25th since. The ham sandwich of weapons in the National Football League.
All right, enjoy your Thursday afternoon. Enjoy opening day of Major League Baseball. You'll hear the Braves right here on ESPN Asheville tomorrow afternoon. We will be back with you on Friday at 3 o'clock for the weekend preview edition. We've got Final Four picks.
The Final
from
Four.
Jeremy
Can't wait for
Greene.
those bangers. UConn by a bajillion.
And we'll get into more draft miss coverage as well.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
It's the cooler side of March again tonight with below average numbers near freezing in the valley, some 20s in the higher elevations tonight. Another gorgeous spring day Thursday. Sunshine, high 66 degrees tomorrow. Lows tomorrow night, not as cold in the mid-40s. And then Friday, cloudy, high 66 degrees. Rain comes into the forecast for the weekend with rain showers Saturday, high 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slowing 240 westbound on the Captain Jeff Owen Bridge. Future 26 eastbound slow between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 westbound slowing west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound delays between Hendersonville Road and Bavard Road. 40 westbound in Haywood County, crawling between NC 209 and US 276 near Fletcher. Hendersonville Road, north and southbound near Fanning Bridge Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road slow. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver.